Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from Sherwood Forest in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, Hour 1 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. I am your lovable, huggable, mid-morning chat host, Eric Von Haessler, surrounded by the Doctrinaires. Tim Andrews is here, Autumn Fisher is here, and of course, Jared Yamamoto is here.
Feeling great this morning. How are you?
You're feeling great. What does that mean? Finally, on Tuesday morning, you're actually not hungover a bit from the weekend?
Yes. That's how it's been the last couple weekends, at least.
As he leaves a wedding weekend where he had to go and get trashed all weekend long, going into his alma mater's homecoming weekend. So we're going to have, look, it's going to be a few rough Mondays, people, when it comes to the production of the Von Haessler Doctrine. But here's the good news. Almost always, by Tuesday, we are all dried out and have our act together. So that's
I feel great.
That's the Von Haessler Doctrine guarantee. By Tuesday of every week, we will be dried out and have our act together, right?
That's right.
Well, we'll show that to you.
It's been the whole month. He's gone to festivals.
No, this is his season of debauchery.
Since July 4th, I have not had a free weekend. There's been something going on every single weekend. I'm not complaining about it. It's been fun, but I'm getting tired.
He's busy like a politician, but it's not for any purpose other than himself getting drunk. I mean, politicians are at least trying to win something. That's why they're doing something every weekend. And he makes appearances constantly, has no downtime, but it's all in pursuit of alcohol. It just really has nothing else.
Practice for later on in life.
And last, why are you going to go into politics later on? Is that your plan?
Who knows?
Oh, for heaven's sakes! Look, you're almost as bad as me. I have to tell you, your skeletons have skeletons inside of your closet.
Indeed, yes, they do.
I don't think you're winning anything, pal.
Have you ever done Molly?
Yeah, it's over.
What?
Yeah, he'll start with the whole Clinton marijuana thing.
What does "is" mean?
And he'll say, well, I put it in my mouth, but I didn't. I didn't swallow any of the saliva that it got circulated up with.
We just have knowledgeable about the source.
Yeah, it's friends. That's all.
Yeah.
So you saw Joker last night?
I did. It was very good.
My wife went and saw Joker last night. She told me as I was going to sleep. So I haven't heard her review. And you said Eric, I think you should go to the theater and see this one.
I think you should.
That's your review?
It's not perfect, but it's very good.
How many movies are perfect?
Not many. Not many.
You
but
would give it
it's
what
very,
out of 10 stars?
Out of 10 stars, I give it 8.75.
Oh, that's very close to 9.
Very close. Yeah.
My math. That's very. I don't know what kept it from being a 9, but he's just not willing to go that far.
Couple of inconsistencies, but other than that, though, the storyline's great without spoiling anything.
You've got all these critics on
Director's amazing.
Rotten Tomatoes who they ended up on the wrong side of this thing because this whole idea was that it was you're supposed to hate this movie. They're telling people you're supposed to hate this movie. It's going to encourage incel culture. That's involuntarily
celibate.
Yeah, people who can't figure out how to get laid. And there was one guy who did kill some people, I believe in Berkeley, and he was recording himself in the car before he did it, and he was incel. And so now this is the most dangerous thing in the world. I got news for you. People who kill indiscriminately have all kinds of crazy, weirdo reasons why they do it. Because none of them legitimate. Doesn't matter what's going through your head. Killing a bunch of people is not legitimate. And all of these stupid killers have some kind of weird reasons why they do it. And every once in a while, the press just puts it in cement and goes, yeah, that's a real thing. And supposedly this Joker was supposed to unleash a wave of virginal violence upon the country. That never happened. But the critics don't really review the montage, the cinematography, the direction, the acting. What they do, they see themselves as gatekeepers for the culture. And what they do is they tell you whether or not you should see this movie based on whether or not the movie is progressive enough. And that's really what happened. And all the critics jumped on the wrong side of this thing because I looked into the numbers of Joker. Every kind of everybody from every single demographic is going to see Joker. And most of them are really, if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, the critics, this is a hard, whatever their thing is, whatever their favorite sociology professor taught them. This movie is not good. And then you go on and see what real people are saying, and it's just great reviews. So I haven't seen it. I do want to see it.
You should.
But
you definitely should see it.
The question here is whether I should leave my house to see it. Because
Yes.
I have a perfectly fine little theater in my basement. It's not, believe me, it's not much. But the screen, because it's a projection screen, is basically the size of a wall. And I can watch movies in there and have a great experience, and I don't have to get annoyed about the person who's got their phone with the light on like a beacon, bringing ships home through the fog, and annoying me with their talking, or kids, or I'm halfway through the movie and somehow you just showed up and you're looking for your seat. I don't have to do any of that. And I've found that even with the most popular of these movies, they tend to get them on streaming within 2 months. So you don't miss much time.
I would say it's worth it to not wait 2 months, to go on and see it, go on and enjoy the theater just for the sound alone.
You could also get a cam-held
I don't want to
version from one of your popular torrent sites.
No, I don't want to see it. I'm not interested in that. I mean,
Colors are off a little too much.
Yeah. I mean, isn't this movie about cinematography and color and,
Yes.
so.
Yeah, you don't want to lose that effect.
Although I will say, I think Joaquin Phoenix's Johnny Cash was a crime against humanity. But he's a weirdo actor who, when he gets into the right role, and this seems like the right role, so I'll figure that out as
He's great.
as the day goes on. The only question is whether I actually go to a theater to see it, or do I wait for it to come to my basement, which eventually all movies make their way into my basement. Some of them I can't even speak of. All right, let's do this.
Headlines for Tuesday, October 15th.
Do we really need another movie where we have to feel sorry for a white guy? This is all I'm hearing. Yeah, but what about the movie? Did you like the movie?
I don't know anything about that. I just know that it's I mean, we've heard this story 1,000 times.
I mean, people are like throwing racial stuff at it because I saw in the trailer he's trying to play with this kid, and the mother, who's African American, says, leave my kid alone or whatever, and he's responding, and so it's supposed to mean all these things. Meanwhile, De Niro, who hates Trump, is in the middle of this thing. I haven't heard him say a damn word about it.
He said it's a movie.
Is that what he said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, there you go. I would agree with Robert De Niro.
And he's fantastic in it, too.
Of course he is. Whenever he puts his mind to it, this De Niro can actually act. The problem is 9 out of 10 movies he does, he goes, all right, what's this going to pay me?
Is it comedy? I'll take it.
Bad grandpa. All right, here we go.
Give me the money.
All right. I don't listen to WSB for movie reviews. I listen for current events, so give me some.
Well, today is the 50th birthday to our beloved Perimeter guys, 285, celebrating 50 years.
October
cake
15th,
month.
1969. 285 was open, and do you want to say happy birthday to you?
Happy birthday to you.
Jared, you don't sing. You have a worse voice than me.
Happy birthday, 285. Happy birthday to you.
Or we could do it like the Olive Garden and places like. Remember when they couldn't sing Happy Birthday?
Happy birthday, happy birthday, 285.
Happy hoo-ha!
Can I get some more breadsticks?
It changed Atlanta, this 285.
No, indeed.
And the way that people spoke, I don't know if you know this, but before there was a 285, people used to refer to the top side as up there.
There?
They just say up there. Now they say the top side perimeter, things like that. They would just say up there. Actually, back before 285, to most people in Atlanta, anything that is topside, that we consider topside now, they used to refer to those people as Yankees.
Them Sandy Springs Yankees.
Them people up north. I think 285 has brought us together.
I think it has.
Go back to Alpharetta, Yankee.
So, happy birthday to that road. I think we're all celebrating the road. It was only 2 lanes on each side.
That must have been fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at first, there was only 2 million people in 1969 in the Atlanta metro area. Now there's 2 million people daily on 285. So we're growing, people, and that's a good thing. Well, happy birthday, 285, and many more. Many more. I don't know what could stop it, but many more.
Well, what if they build another perimeter? What does that do to 285?
You mean a perimeter outside of the perimeter?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the top side?
Yeah.
Hey, that's the future. I'll be dead by then.
I think they should do a train.
It would be, they should do a train.
They should do a train, a loop train that goes around in the middle of 285. That way you could travel with traffic.
The inner perimeter is what do you call that? Inner ITP. What's it? I'm trying to
ITP. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If you live inside the perimeter, you're ITP. If you're outside, you're OTP.
So if we have a perimeter beyond the perimeter, if you're in the ITP now, you would be in the in ITOGP.
IT.
It'd be original gangsta perimeter. I'm just trying to help here. People from GDOT listen, and I want to help them out with their next roadways. All right, next story. Well, happy birthday, 285.
South Carolina's athletic director, Ray Tanner, called UGA to apologize for the Gamecocks destroying the hedges after they won in Athens.
Did they destroy? Come on, let's have a little bit of. First of all,
they are ripping it apart.
Everybody's beside themselves because they, Bulldogs lost a game they had no business losing. Although it's competition, it's sports. That's the way it is. You got to learn a hell of a lesson. If you're ranked number 3 and you go up against a team that's not ranked, you take them as seriously as if you're playing the number 1 ranked. This is something that young people have to learn. I think Kirby had some idea before the game started that his team wasn't ready because he was yelling that we're not ready. So I don't know what he was seeing, but this is a lesson that has to be learned. When you're ranked number 3 and you play an unranked team, you have to bring your game as if you're playing number 1. And that's a learning thing, and we'll see if it applies. What can be done this year? I don't know, but I think there's a lot of extra anger out there, and when you have extra anger, then you want to throw it on the opposing team. Now, I don't think has hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of damage been done here? I don't
know,
think
but they ripped up a lot.
I mean, even the coach who played for Georgia, he snapped a little off for himself. I'm not saying it's the right thing. I'm saying all that anger that you have. Let's face it. You really want to. You just don't know how to. You don't know how to focus any more of it toward Kirby Smart, and you don't want to because you love Kirby Smart, and we all do. And you have no guarantee to win any game. That's sports. And all you can do now is put it in the rearview mirror, learn from it, apply it to the future. But I think there's a little bit of excess spillover anger here, and it's going to go. It's not like the guy who poisoned the trees.
The Alabama fan that poisoned the tree at Auburn. You're right.
I mean, it wasn't like it was the wrong thing to do. They apologized for it. I think the apology has been accepted. It's time to move on and recognize that the real anger that you have is you need to spotlight that on the coaching staff and the team because they're the ones who let you down.
Yeah.
If the UGA wins that game, I figured this out. No damage to the hedges.
Yeah, good point.
I know people are angry at me now, but I've been like this the last couple of weeks. People get angry with me. I say what's on my mind. People get angry with me. And in their minds, they think, well, I'm never going to listen to him again. And then they walk away and they realize everything else sucks. And then they have to come back and they're laughing, they're enjoying, but still angry because they wanted to walk away. And the show's so damn good, it didn't allow them to do that. I apologize right up front. All right, go ahead.
Tonight's the big night, Eric.
Is it a big night?
12 candidates, 3 hours, 1 stage, right here on WSB Radio from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. I cannot wait for the big Democrat debate tonight.
This guy right here won't see a moment. Won't see a moment.
No.
That's my response.
You're going to miss out.
Kamala Harris, you were saying you think there's too many people up there.
I think there's too many people. There's more people at this thing in my book club.
It's your book club.
I don't know if I'm going to have enough wine.
Kamala Harris, this is do or die for you. You're still down there at 4 or 5%. Even Buttigieg has moved up to like 8%.
Well, Mayor Pete's cute as a button. People like cute as a button. But we're going to talk about our truth tonight and share it with everybody, and everybody's going to see how.
Good old time. 12 people on stage. Again, I have to say, all the networks that bring these things. If you got 12 people on stage, please, by all means, have as many moderators as possible. The last one, they had 10 people on stage, 5 moderators. We got a better. At this point, I think the people on stage could beat the moderators at almost any game. So it's 12-3. It's 3 moderators tonight. But Anderson Cooper, Aaron Burnett, who I don't know what she.
What?
I don't know what she. Is it Aaron Burnett?
I
think
believe
it's Aaron
so.
Burnett.
Yeah, she's on from at 7 o'clock on CNN.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. This is what annoys me. Why is Aaron Burnett there? Because at CNN, we gave Aaron Burnett a new contract, and we believe that she's the future. And so we want to highlight and spotlight in situations like this. Wow, it occurs to me that has nothing to do with finding out who the best candidate would be for the Democrats. So it's annoying to me in that sense. 12 people on stage, what's going to be accomplished? I won't even begin to think about watching one of these things until it's down to like 5 people. But then if you hit me with 5 moderators, I'm out again. It's really a full-on numbers count I'm looking for here. I'm looking for 5 people on stage, 1 moderator. And perhaps then I will watch that debate. Although if you only have 1 moderator and you're CNN, you're like, oh my God, it's got to be an African-American, male, female, gay, straight, Asian. How are we going to find this perfect moderator?
Get your daily dose of comic relief with Eric Von Haessler mornings at 9. Then shake off the daily stress.
It's gonna be alright.
With Mark Aram weeknights at 6 on 95.5 WSB.
You know, it's been a while since we had a good politically correct Halloween costume story. You got anything over there?
You know, I think I have just the thing for you, Eric.
Darned.
Michigan State University is being criticized for Halloween costume sensitivity flyers that were sent around campus. This flyer says that costumes are not culture, and you can't be. They're not racially or ethically correct. So it's a list of all the costumes.
Racially, ethnically, or culturally based costumes are offensive and shouldn't be worn.
Yes.
It says here there are some good intentions behind it. We don't want to make fun of other people's cultures. These are the people who are against it. They're saying you don't want to say I'm going to wear this to purposely mock you or mock what your culture stands for. But I think there's a difference between that and telling students wearing a sombrero with a mustache is somehow racist. You know what I would like to? I'm supposed to jump in here as the talk show host, and oh my God. Although I will say this. Can we get rid of these? Can we get out of these endless culture wars? I will tell you, I will ask you this question. Is there anything more boring than this nonstop culture war? As a matter of fact, one of the things the Von Haessler Doctrine is here to help do is to open your eyes. You don't know, for some reason, most of you listening don't know how absolutely bored you have been over the last 4 or 5 years by fighting this nonstop culture war. It doesn't matter what side you're on. If you've been involved at the grassroots level on either side of the culture war for the last 5 or 10 years, without a doubt, you are some of the most boring people in America right now. All of your friends are so sick and tired of you talking about this, but they won't tell you because they've fallen out of like with you, but they probably still love you. That's why the Von Haessler Doctrine is here to say, it is time to get America out of these endless culture wars. That's what it comes down to. I love this Jared Yamamoto, but he really does need to be punched in the face. He just...
What?
By me, by someone who is trying to help him out. Just
set him straight.
Yeah, just before we go on the air. October's great.
That's so fun. It's crisp.
October's great.
Sit outside and drink.
Yeah.
I enjoyed sitting out on my porch last night for a little while, comfortably.
The summer started. I love the summer. It's like, it's not good.
Guys, winter's great. Yeah.
At long last, the winter is here. He's begun to realize alcohol is available in every season.
Wow.
Therefore, every season can be great. All right, let's do this.
Tech Tuesday with Greg Rudd.
Is it Wednesday?
No, we're actually doing Tech Tuesday on Tuesday this
Whoa.
week. I should have said it's a special edition of Tech Tuesday on Tuesday. Greg,
Weird.
how are you?
I'm all right. I don't think you can knock thoughtfulness and deeper thought into a person.
You can't. You're saying that no matter how many times I punch my producer, he's not going to come around and suddenly be a thoughtful, deep thinking human being.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
You know what?
That's what I'm saying.
I think that a little bit of happiness can go around. I'm here to bring joy and happiness to everyone on the crew.
Well, here's the thing,
Is that what
Jared.
you're here for? Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead. All right, now, Greg, I know that happiness upsets you, but remember,
It doesn't upset me.
We're on the air, and we are regulated by the Federal Communications Commission.
Okay, I make you the promise I won't get you kicked off the air. Happiness is fleeting.
Yeah.
I enjoy happiness. Let me put that on the table first. I enjoy happiness, but it's fleeting. So when someone's constantly happy, that is an act, and I can't buy into it, and I don't trust them.
It's funny. I was texting a friend of mine about you, Greg, the other day, and the friend said, I don't think that Greg is really such a misanthrope. I think he's just sort of playing it up. And I said, to a certain degree, we're taking an aspect of his personality, and we are playing it up. But I also added, Greg's problem is he hates insincerity, and that's okay. The problem is Greg finds it everywhere he looks.
Because the world is filled with it. Humanity is built on a foundation of
Okay,
insincerity.
but don't you think that we all, life is, I've been coming to grips with this myself as I get older. Life is beautiful and tragic. And when the tragic is built in, Greg, the tragic is built in. If you're in this world, you're going to become close to people who get sick, people who die, loved ones who get old and die. The tragedy is built in. The beauty, I would say 25 to 30% is there, and we have to fight to make it equal. We have to fight to put more beauty and goodness into the world.
I buy into that. I'm not arguing that at all.
Maybe some people overdo it. And it is annoying to me. And believe me, when Jared walks in and I'm half asleep at 7:15 in the morning, I find that to be a bit annoying.
Every morning for 5 years,
But
I'm usually in a pretty dang good mood.
I appreciate the spirit of the whole thing, Greg. I think that you ought to give people a little bit of a break on that. That's all. I understand where you're coming from.
What are you overcompensating for, Jared? What's really going on in that head of yours? I know there are thoughts in there.
There are. Of course there are. He's thinking about how much he drank last weekend. He's thinking about how much he's going to drink this weekend.
You know what
last weekend he was thinking about how hot his girlfriend is. And this weekend he's going to be thinking about how hot his girlfriend is. There's a lot of very good thoughts in there.
You know what it is, Greg? I got to sweep the bad away. It was a rough week in Atlanta sports. I've got some family stuff going on.
Don't sweep it away. Sit in it.
No.
I want you to sit with those bad feelings.
I will not become you. I will not become cynical. I'm focusing on ahead.
You sound like the kid, like Greg's the dad. I'm not going to live my life like you, Dad.
What I'm saying is,
I 6 years apart.
I didn't sit with bad feelings for a very long time. I just didn't pretend I was happy. I just shoved them down inside. But if you actually sit with them, you process them, and then they're gone.
See, I choose to focus on the good things that are happening around me instead of the bad. I'm not saying that I don't have good things that are happening because I've got a lot of fun things. No,
the best thing.
I think every person has good.
You
and
are
bad
blind, Jared. The best thing around you is booze. That is not a good thing.
Suddenly this has become an intervention at 9:41 in the morning.
Because it sneaks up on you.
You guys have said I did not say that.
It sneaks up on you. You think I'm young, and then I'm kind of young, and I'm maybe not so young, but I'm not old, and you keep drinking, and then next thing you know, you're in your 50s.
Yeah, the face changes. You don't know who you are.
You're swollen.
Last night I had a blast with my friends, and I didn't even have a drop of alcohol.
That's because you were drying out from a weekend of. And by the, I don't want him to answer that question. But when you say I didn't drink any alcohol, it doesn't mean you didn't ingest anything.
Yeah, well, I drink water.
Also,
the
the fact that you're pointing out that you had a night where you didn't drink with people.
Yeah,
this is such an anomaly in your life. I've got to tell everyone.
It was crazy night. I didn't have a drop of alcohol.
Yeah, it's that thing where I take care of my kids, that Chris Rock thing. You're supposed to take. It's not something you brag about.
I'm just trying to say that there are plenty of nights where there are no activities going on, and I'm as happy as can be.
Yeah.
I choose to focus on good moments. And Greg, I encourage you to do the same, man. You'll be much happier if you focus on
I don't know.
the
I don't
happiness
think,
in your life.
I got to tell you, I've known Greg a long time. I've never seen him happier. He's got himself. This is the old Jack Nicholson thing. This is as good as it gets with Greg. All right, give me some Tech Tuesday.
The internet has claimed another person's job, even though it was their stupidity that got them fired. A Panera Bread worker allegedly fired after a viral TikTok clip exposed the frozen mac and cheese at the restaurant.
All right, so
not their mac and cheese. They've betrayed me.
First of all, America, number one. We got to step back off the ledge. We're heading into bacon territory with mac and cheese. Like bacon, mac and cheese is pretty darn good. It's not something that enriches your soul. People get so caught up.
It enriches your arteries.
In these food items, and then people are following blindly. Like they hear other people say bacon is magical, so they just parrot it. And like all of a sudden, because Chick-fil-A and somebody else did mac and cheese lately, it's to die for. No, there's something in between. Ask me about the Chick-fil-A mac and cheese.
How's the Chick-fil-A mac and cheese?
Pretty good. That's about where it stands in reality. And
now
mac
ask
and
me.
cheese. Autumn, how's the mac and cheese?
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, have you not had it? It's amazing.
It's funny. You and all your friends all say exactly the same thing and had the exact same effect on you. So that's the
Didn't you
first
see
thing.
my Instagram story where I was eating it, and then
Missed
my
it.
Instagram post about it, and then also I tweeted and Facebooked about it, and
You know what I
TikToked and
decided?
Instagram and Snapchatted.
You know what I decided? I decided that Eric Von Haessler has had a storyful. So I don't need any more Instagram stories or any stories anywhere. So people think the mac and cheese at Panera is so wonderful and it's so fresh and whatever. And so this viral video shows that it comes out of what we used to call boiler bags, like frozen stuff, and you put it in. So, and then there's this guy. The guy that's doing it's got this maniacal laugh.
Well, it's a woman who posted it, but yes, there's a man laughing in the video.
Let's hear this.
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No.
Is that from that new Banana Splits movie?
He's getting killed.
No.
It's a bit much for what's actually happening.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Out of all of you spoiled kids here around me, Tim Andrews used to manage a Bob Evans. I grew up in a family of not restaurateurs, because that would assume that maybe you would own one from time to time. I just grew up in a family of people who all made their money waiting on tables or working in the back. And I myself was a prep cook for quite some time. People are completely wrong about this. The fact that something's frozen sometimes is the best way to get the freshest thing to people, especially if you're a national chain. Things like
you're not
soups,
adding preservatives at that point.
Right. Soups and things like this are best. The best soups from restaurants are usually frozen before unless they're going to get there at 4 a.m. and cook everything from scratch.
Which they're not going to do at Panera.
They're not going to do in any national chain.
Right.
You just can't do it. So absent that, it's actually there's nothing going on here. There's nothing untoward. I know people thought that at Panera, you really think people are showing up at 3:30 in the morning and starting to put the roux together? Like,
No.
nah, it's not gonna. That guy's fantastic, though.
No.
It's almost like he's commenting on something different.
Yes,
It is.
like you're about to drop a hamster into the boiling water.
Now that would be funny.
Well, that's what TikTok does, right?
Well, I don't know what TikTok
Kills
is.
hamsters?
I don't know what
Yeah, they boil
Hey,
hamsters.
by the
You didn't know
way,
that?
Like Razor in Maniac Mansion.
As a person who had hamsters in his life, I no violence toward hamsters.
I had hamsters.
You had hamsters?
I kept one in the windowless bathroom because it made too much noise.
Well, that's the thing. It's a hamster. My parents gave it to me, and they informed me it was nocturnal. And I was 8 years old, and I said, well, what's nocturnal? It means that while you're awake, it'll be asleep, and while you're trying to sleep, it's going to be running on that damn wheel all night long, and you won't be able to. So it's not really a great, like having a dog or a cat. They're awake while you're awake and asleep while you're asleep.
Yeah.
Seems like it works out better. But I will have no call for violence against hamsters because the great Jeff B., my hamster from 1972.
Jeff B.
Yeah, he was named after my favorite race driver, Jeff Bodine. Before Jeff Bodine went into NASCAR, by the way. And before
Jeffrey, stop running on that wheel.
No.
Let me tell you how smart I was. I named my hamster after a driver in 1972 that had never made the national stage, and some years later, that driver won the Daytona 500. How about that? I'm good with my... Hey, when I pick your name of my hamster, you're going to be a winner.
All of my little peripheral pets that weren't a cat or a dog were named Autumn Pritz.
Oh, look at that. Well, I must have made it easy for you.
Yeah.
Hey, little Autumn.
I want to tell you the reasoning behind because the hamsters are nocturnal. I thought it would always want to be in the dark, so it just was locked in that dark bathroom. Flawed logic.
Flawed logic, and also on your parents' part to allow. How old were you at this time?
8.
Yeah, 8-year-olds should not make decisions on other living things. They should
No,
be
they
told what
respected
to
it.
do.
They were
Yeah.
like, well,
hey,
he's
look.
decided to put the hamster in the dark, and that's his
So this
decision.
hamster, when it came time to clean its cage, it was like when the light came in, like scurrying over to one side of the cage, putting its paws up over its eyes.
Here's a toilet paper roll for you to chew on.
I do feel bad about it.
Did you clean the cage regularly? Because most kids don't get that part right.
What is regularly?
To me, when you ever...
I did.
For me, when you have
It's
pets...
ever.
Now, I don't remember the hamster waste output, but, to me, you got to clean... Any pet that you have to clean after, cat, anything, no more than 2 days. Like, every 2 days, you need to clean that thing.
No, Eric. This one, I agree with you, but my cleaning regime was much longer than that, probably a few months.
Well, it's a few months!
It was.
Well,
I should have
okay.
not had a pet.
Okay, all right. And you know what? I have to say that your parents are good people, but they let that one slip by. Hey, has anybody seen that hamster lately? It's just in the dark. Where did you put it?
It was in the bathroom.
Okay.
In the interior bathroom. No one does.
They must have known when they went in there.
That was my bathroom. No one else used that one.
Oh, wow. How long did the hamsters don't live very long, I don't think.
I think 3 years if you take care of them.
How long did yours live?
Well, I did go in one day and it was stretched out, dead.
Stretched out.
Oh.
You know what it was? It died of lack of sunlight.
I do want
go.
to say that I don't
Wow.
feel good about this.
No,
just
of course
so
you
everyone
don't feel
listening knows.
of
A
course.
lack of happiness.
And believe me, if anybody's listening, Greg Russ feels guilty about things that he never had anything to do with. He certainly feels guilty about any negative that he created in his life.
It's just 30 years later.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
All right, I have a pair of tickets for the UGA Kentucky game this weekend in Athens. You have to sign up right now on your WSB radio app. You have until 11 a.m. I'll announce the winner at 11:15, but you can't win unless you sign up on the WSB radio app. All right, Greg, let's see if we can fit another Tech Tuesday story in.
There's been a slew of snake-like UFOs seen flying over Orlando and other parts of Florida.
Yeah.
And a professor has claimed he knows what they are. It's a hybrid air, land, and sea craft run by the United States Air Force, part of the Space Force, Eric.
Oh, really? I think this is some of the audio.
There's something big up in the sky up there moving really, really, really slow.
When I'm looking at this thing.
And it's tilting back and forth sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think I can zoom in anymore. No, that's as far as I can get on it.
I'm looking at this thing.
It'll get blurry.
I'm looking at this thing, and I'm thinking, that's a blimp. I mean, I'm looking at it, it just looks like, it's probably not the Goodyear blimp.
It's the Space Force.
Is it the Space
We call it the Wiggle Worm. It floats in the air. It's the Space Force Wiggle Worm. And that's all I'm going to say.
Hey, wouldn't a blimp go forward, back and forth sometimes? Have you seen the one I'm
Possibly.
talking about? The one that's on in this Daily Star report? UFO spotted hovering over Mojave Desert. It looks
It
like a
said
blimp.
Goodyear on it. I don't know what that means.
The aliens have sponsorships, apparently.
Now, when you say UFOs, I say I don't believe in them. That's kind of silly because it just means it's unidentified. We've associated it in popular culture with beings from another planet flying here. And when I say I have no belief in UFOs, that's what I mean. Something can be unidentified until it's identified. But the silliness of, them creatures from outer space are coming here. First of all, why the hell would they come here? But
In their blimps.
To mine our resources.
They need gold. That's why we have the Space Force.
There's an alien Hindenburg.
Yeah.
There's one. Yeah.
Oh, the alien entity.
If there's one planet you would avoid in the universe, wouldn't it be this one? Why would people clamor? Oh, yeah, they haven't even figured out a way. That whole Israel-Palestinian thing is still going on. They can't even figure that out. Let's go there. They seem to know what they're doing.
Look at Twitter, turn around, go back to their own planet.
Yeah, why? Hey, I want to get there. Yeah, things can't be any better here than they are where they came from.
They are woke.
Well, if you want to unite humanity, an alien invasion is the way to do it.
I know. They're always like super liberal in the movies. No one ever shows up. No aliens ever show up land and say, capitalism. That is the answer. That never happens. They're always in favor of everything the UN is in favor of. All right, Greg, thank you very much. I won't even ask if you're going to join us on the podcast 30 because you always say no.
All right, I won't answer.
Very good. Hour 2 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. This always annoys me every year, and then I get annoyed with myself for being annoyed yet again. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has announced its 2020 finalist. Parenthetically, big yawn. I mean, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame it's a silly concept, even if it kept true to its mission, which is to find and celebrate the most important or respected rock and roll acts of all time. Stupid to have a Hall of Fame because, unlike sports, you're not generating new stuff all the time, right?
Right, yeah.
First of all, I've said this before. If you're the best pitcher in America and you're 17 years old, it doesn't matter how small of a town you come from, the big leagues will find you. There aren't great pitchers, unless they don't want it themselves, who just can't be seen and can't make it to the top. We know that the best rock and roll band of all time may have existed for 5 years somewhere in Nevada in the bar scene, and none of us ever heard of them or ever saw them. That's one thing why you can't really have a Hall of Fame. The other thing is, like sports, you don't, or unlike sports, I should say, you're not creating rock and roll bands. There's no real outlet on radio for a new rock and roll band. The new rock and roll bands are still Foo Fighters and Green Day.
What about Greta Van Fleet?
Well, they get up there, but how many radio stations do you hear them on?
They have a farm system, but no teams to
Very interesting things, Jared.
sign up.
How many times have you heard them on the radio?
Not many.
There's no outlet. All you can do is get big on social media, maybe tour, get a good fan base. That's all you can do. But chances are you're not going to be seen by the people. We're still putting people in who had major radio play in the 70s and maybe the 80s because we're not making more. So if you work it all out, by the end of time, every rock and roll band ends up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame eventually. Although they're being snooty now. That's another thing that bothers me. Kiss only got in because of a fan campaign to get them in. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame people didn't want them in there. They were snooty about it. I think Rush is kind of the same way.
Yeah.
It took the fans to get there. They're being very snooty. Bands like Styx and REO Speedwagon, they're not considered good enough to be in there or nominees because they're not the kind of rock and roll. I mean, they sold a lot of records, rock and roll records, and they're too snooty. But the Notorious B.I.G., by the way, great artist. Great artist. Is he rock and roll? Did anybody think of the Notorious B.I.G. as rock and roll? Whitney Houston? I mean, unbelievable voice. No one ever thought of her as a rock and roll singer. She's a pop star. She's a pop singer. So is it the pop? And then I get angry this point in that I care enough to even. It's idiotic. Just put it that way. It's idiotic. And I ain't going to no Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not until big stars in there. All right, let's do this.
More headlines for Tuesday, October 15th.
All right, what do you got for me? I take it the news has not stopped.
Well, some Georgians are upset, Eric.
Some Georgians are. Hold on, stop the music.
Yeah.
Newsflash. Some Georgians are upset. Well, I'm on pins and needles, my friend.
I'm from Georgia and I'm upset.
Are you angry?
I'm not really angry. I'm just upset.
Okay, you're
She's
upset.
always upset.
She's always upset.
Shut
Chronically.
up, Dan.
Chronically.
Shut up.
All right,
You
now
shut
we
up.
don't want a Georgia domestic on our hands.
Now you know why I'm upset.
You're
I'm upset. I was upset first.
So you're telling me that some Georgians are upset. What are they
Yes.
upset about, for heaven's
Well,
sakes?
because the test run for those new voting machines has started, and
love of
many
yesterday.
people are not liking them, and they've made it a point to complain.
sort of sound effect or something that will get my. I mean, honestly, how did we ever elect people for 200 some odd years in this state? This is a weird. We are, as a country, it really is. It's this phenomenon known as paralysis by analysis, and that's what we're in right now. Have you? This is. I see this as in the same category. We're Americans. We're just supposed to do. Do you understand that? We have a meeting, we decide what we're going to do, and we do. We stick with it. It works, it fails, whatever. Doesn't mean it can't be tweaked. We don't just wring our hands and then get back together again and wring our hands and then do something about it and get back together again and wring our hands. Americans should do, all right? We have elected people in this state for over 200 years. For heaven's sakes, why is it so difficult to come up with something that people. And I want to get to this. Have you seen what's going on in California, where PG&E, their power company, has been turning off the power for hours and days at a time, because last year they were blamed for the wildfires, and the one in particular just got rid of an entire town and killed a bunch of people. On speculation, by the way, there's no absolute one-to-one proof that a power line started this thing. Before power lines and people, lightning strikes started wildfires. Wildfires are natural. And there are ways that nature kind of cleans itself out. Boy, a lot of brush down there. Lightning, boom. Nature knows how to clean itself up. If you don't want wildfires, you have to manage stuff. Well, in California, the environmentalists say, well, you can't move that. It's natural. Blah, 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 blah. So now, in 2019, where we have every piece of data of all time in the palm of our hands in a phone, and in the past, we've always known how to handle this stuff. Now we just throw up our hands. This is not American. I was watching one of my favorite tech podcasts, and the host said, we may not be doing shows for the next few days. PG&E just told us that they'll be taking us off down at 4:30 in the morning, and they don't know when they're going to put us back up. This is the United States of America, where people are going without electricity. People are dying. Many people have health problems. They're dependent upon electricity, and no matter how much you get the word out, somebody's going to miss it who needs electricity, and this is exactly, there's a guy who died within 2 hours of him turning on. This is not the American way. If a wildfire was caused by electric lines last year, this year we get in there, we clear out all the brush, we trim away everything away from all the electric lines, and we keep going. We don't just suddenly have rolling brownouts and blackouts and pretend that it's 1740 all of a sudden. That is not the American way. I don't know how you don't just win the Oval Office back again by just showing commercials saying, hey, that's California. Can you name one Republican politician running anything in that state? They turn off the electricity because nobody wants to disturb the underbrush. How did we keep wildfires from taking out towns for all these years? We cleaned up the underbrush. We honestly didn't give a damn what Mother Nature thought about it. We wanted both electricity and no wildfires, and we just fired up the bulldozers and made that happen. But I guess that's now seen as toxic masculinity.
It is.
Well, and part of the reason why the fires do get out of control is because we are preventing the fires, right?
Well, I think the way they get out of control is because we don't clean up the underbrush. Because of environmental reasons, we won't go in there and clean the underbrush. Or they won't in California. We do here. They won't in California.
That is why. That's
why. I mean, you can't stop wildfires. They're going to start. The question is, how big do they get? How much combustible fuel do you have on the ground waiting for the fire when it happens?
A lot, let me tell you, because California, they planted a ton of eucalyptus trees, which are not indigenous to California. Mm-hmm. And when they burn, they explode, the oil from those trees is like napalm, and it lands on something.
It lands sometimes miles away onto the roof of a house.
I know that's California politics, but I'm just telling you, much like us not being able to figure out how to get the right voting machine. Paralysis by analysis here. Well, you're Americans. Have a meeting, make a decision, and then stick with it when people yell at you. Move. Go forward. Get it done. Go for your best life. This is the best life to most people. We have electricity, and we don't have wildfires that wipe out entire towns. That is doable. Eric, how do you know it's doable? Because we did it for 200 years.
Yeah, but Eric, here in Paulding County, Dallas, Georgia specifically, these new voting machines are cumbersome. And
I warned of that. We never should have gone to these damn things. There was nothing wrong with the last ones other than the fact they were 15 years old. Should have just stayed with them. Or, like I say, go back to the old system. Go back to the old system. This whole thing with hanging chads. If your chad hangs, your vote don't count, and it's 100% on you. What are you, a grown person? You don't know how to push a hole all the way through?
It's awfully heavy.
I say you put it on the politicians to inform their voters how to punch a hole all the way through.
Well, one of the other things that they made a mistake on was election workers were putting the little yellow access voting card. They were putting it in backwards into the machine, and they were having issues.
But you know what? We can make fun of that, but you have to suddenly retrain people. I don't know about your poll workers. Mine seem to be 65 plus because the rest of us don't give enough about our democracy to volunteer. So you got to take a bunch of people, many of whom are senior citizens, and you have to retrain them in some sort of electronic digital thing. It's absurd. We used to poke a hole next to the person that we wanted to be president or mayor or governor, and it worked just fine.
I took a pencil in the first time I voted and made an X.
Yeah, there you go.
What's wrong with that? I guess you can erase it.
Yeah, I don't know. You could, but are you going to erase 2 million of them so you have some sort of statistical?
No, just every other one.
Oh my! And nobody notices. Hey, there's a guy back there.
Yeah.
He keeps erasing everything.
Another complaint that they had at the...
You see what happens here? Do you see what happens here? We're going backward. The left call themselves progressives, but we end up turning off the electricity. It's absurd. That's not progressive. That's not progressive. I mean, if you're a big corporation, I guess you have backup generators. All the backup generators, by the way, let me just say to the environmentalists who won't let them clean out, all the backup generators are being run on diesel, and a lot of it. It doesn't last very long. It's just moronic stuff. Progress is when you move forward, not when you start turning off the electricity and saying, sorry, humans, you'll just have to suffer. Know your place.
What about a printer being plugged into the wrong slot? And one voter had to cancel her ballot and re-vote because she didn't realize she needed to scroll to the bottom of the screen on the voting machine to see the entire ballot.
Hey, you know what? I am inspired by California. Let's just cancel elections. Obviously, we just don't know how to do it. Trying to get me agitated, aren't you? Tell me I'm going to do the LeBron story next.
Poke the bear.
I thought it was too serious yesterday. I don't want to be all serious radio host. So go ahead. I'll be all right. Go ahead. Hit me with LeBron's latest, he finally spoke to the China issue?
Yes, he finally spoke up about Daryl Morey's tweet. He's the GM of the Houston Rockets.
Yeah,
and
he had the audacity to tweet, as an American, I stand for freedom in Hong Kong. Oh, my, how scandalous.
And finally, the reporters caught up with LeBron.
Yeah, this is kind of a long clip. Let it play. I think that he does make some sense here, which he clarified in a later tweet, but he's still defraying from actually talking about the substance of the matter. Go ahead.
I think when we all sit back and learn from the situation that happened, understand that what you could tweet or could say, and we all talk about this freedom of speech. Yes, we all do have freedom of speech, but at times there are ramifications for the negative that can happen when you're not thinking about others and you only think about yourself. So, when you're misinformed or you're not educated about something, and I'm just talking about, the tweet itself, you never know the ramifications that can happen. We all seen what they did. Not only did for our league, but for all of us in America, for people in China as well. And sometimes you have to think through things that you say that may cause harm, not only for yourself, but for the majority of people. And I think that's just a prime example of that.
Except when you're alienating Midwestern Republicans in your own country, then the fact that somebody might not buy shoes or tickets to an NBA game doesn't matter. Now, he clarified in a tweet that he was talking about the fact that, and he makes some sense here, Daryl Morey, the general manager of the Houston Rockets, when the NBA players, when you got teams playing preseason games in China, probably not the best thing to do. Basically, he said the tweet could have waited a week until we got home. Now, he's correct on that from a business point of view, but he's still not speaking to the substance, which now we're talking about that, and LeBron has never been silent about how he feels about social justice. I think it would be fine if LeBron said, look, I'm an American. I care about social justice in America. The rest of the world has to take care of itself. I might not agree with that, but I would think, okay, well, you're being honest about what you're going to speak up for and what you're not. But in reality, LeBron is being paid to be silent on abuses in China. Hong Kong is trying to, yesterday, they're putting statues of liberty up. They're asking Congress to pass legislation recognizing them. I got news for you. It's not going to happen. America doesn't give a damn about freedom around the world anymore. That makes me sad, but my objective judgment is, for many reasons, the American electorate does not give a damn about freedom around the world anymore. I think it's sad, but it's true. All right, Listen up, people. I have a pair of tickets for the UGA Kentucky game this weekend in Athens, but you have to sign up right now on your WSB radio app until 11 a.m. I will announce the winner at 11:15, but you can't win unless you sign up on the WSB radio app. I'm just starting to go through this. You know that GQ, that's Gentleman's Quarterly, right?
Oh, yeah.
They've got their new masculinity issue.
Oh, nice.
It's called The New Masculinity. And apparently, I'm just skimming the magazine right now. But so far, what I've deduced is the new masculinity looks an awful lot like the old femininity. Doesn't the word mean something anymore? You can't really change what masculinity is. You can decide to be it or not be it, but you can't have a new masculinity. It's still called, being a wuss, right? All right, let's do this.
Sparring with Dr. Joe.
Speaking of masculinity.
Oh, man.
Dr. Joe, they say everybody's supposedly against toxic masculinity now, but yet the NFL is still by far the most popular sport in America. I don't know how. I'm saying
toxic.
It is toxic, and it's the most popular sport in America by far, but supposedly we're all really turned off by this toxic masculinity, just like we're all turned off by this Joker movie that everybody's going to see.
Even Jared went to see it.
I don't mean to drag you into all of that, Dr. Joe. You're here to help us navigate the stories that have to do with health and lifestyle, those sort of things, Jared.
Talk about hormone-disrupting chemicals that make men less masculine, and so that kind of fits into this thing here.
Well, yeah, it does, but GQ is putting it out there as that's a good thing.
Yeah,
they want masculine to have that. You can't. What I'm trying to get across to people is that you can't just change what words mean. You can say we're going to be less masculine and more feminine, but you can't say it's a new. You can't say being feminine is the new masculinity. It's just that more people are choosing the feminine nature.
Yes.
All right, Jared, give me some sort of health and/or lifestyle story that Dr. Joe and I can banter about.
Yeah. This first story comes from U.S. News. How fast
and World Report. Why does everybody leave the second part out?
Well, because it's very tiny. It's hard to see on there.
It used to be a magazine. You could see it. Now that it's online.
U.S. News and World Report. How fast you walk might show how fast you're aging, guys.
Now, which way does it go? Is it if you walk faster, what happens?
If you walk slower, that means you're aging more, and that means.
I don't know. I would think that if you walk faster, you're going to make it to your grave quicker. Am I thinking about this the wrong way?
You are thinking about that the wrong way.
I thought if I walked slowly, it would take me forever to get to the cemetery.
So couch potatoes will last forever.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
They're not going anywhere.
That's right.
So I think I walk relatively quickly.
Yeah.
I'm not one of these weirdo race walkers. What do you think of those people?
Yeah, with their hips shaking back and forth.
Yeah, speed walkers. With
their tiny butts moving back and forth. Crazy.
I hope this is good for you because you really, really are looking like a moron from the rest of the neighborhood. So if it works for you, I'm really glad. The arms are going really fast, but the legs are barely moving. It's weird. Mm-hmm. So you believe this is real, and why?
I think so. Well, the brain is working more efficiently, and that's really what aging is all about, is keeping the brain working.
So if your brain's not working, you'd be like, one step.
Opie-dopey-do.
2 steps.
Exactly, yes.
Oh, I got to think about doing another step.
Exactly, yes.
And that's a sign. Okay, I get it.
That's why the brain controls everything, and keeping that brain working is really important, and that's kind of a sign that your brain is working well.
The blood's flowing, you're moving around.
And that's why you ought to do cocaine. It keeps your brain going, and you snort it, and your brain just goes nuts, and you can walk fast, and you don't even care if you get hurt.
Anti-Dr. Joe. That doesn't seem like good advice.
It worked for me.
Anti-Dr. Joe's been hanging out with our new buddy Snacky a little too much.
Yeah, they snack on the same things. That's for sure.
Boy, don't we ever.
Yeah, you guys really keep your energy up. Try a Red Bull. I mean, it's bad for you.
Well, that's terrible for you. I just eat the cola nut.
He snorts lines of Red Bull, which I think is just really kind of weird.
Try it out? Is that how it works? Yes.
He just pours it in a pan, just takes a straw and starts drinking it through the nose. Nose drinking, which is by the way, kids, the Von Haessler Doctrine is against the nose drinking.
But it's a quick way to get drunk.
That may be true. However, the Von Haessler Doctrine is against nose drinking. Kids, use your mouths.
What?
For drinking. This is Tim Andrews. He's got a horrible mind.
I'm not the only one.
So yeah, we're okay. What's the story? Andrews just threw me off.
I know we're all
I have no idea what we're talking about now.
If you walk slow, you're slowing down mentally. That's the
right. All right, now let me ask you a question though.
Yes.
Let's say I'm listening to this right now, and I'm 62, and I walk, and now I'm getting scared. Ooh, I'm a slow walker. Can you prolong your life by just forcing yourself to walk faster, or is it just more a symptom of what's going on?
And the reason is that the right side of your brain controls the left side of your body. Left side of your brain controls the right side of your body.
Who figured that was a stupid move?
So that
was a dumb way to do things.
I know. Talk to somebody about that.
Backward.
Yeah. So when you walk, you need to swing your right arm and your left leg and your left arm and your right leg. And that's going to actually integrate brain function.
Oh.
And it makes the brain work more efficiently.
Then I'll be able to figure out the Sunday jumble.
That's right, yes.
Because let me tell you something. I am not able to figure It's getting harder and harder every week.
Well, go for a nice walk. Right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg.
This is how calcified my brain is lately. I was doing a crossword puzzle in the TV guide.
They still have that?
And it was, online.
Oh, okay.
But it was a 4-letter word. Actor on MASH.
Okay.
Alan blank. I couldn't figure it out.
No.
So I said to myself, I got to go out there and do some walking.
Yes,
it was not Alan Hunt. Of course, it was Alda. But I couldn't figure it out because my brain was so calcified.
Was it a chicken?
So I got to get out and walk more.
Yes. Well, you're walking anyway, but when you walk, swing your right arm to your left
There's
leg.
a lot of characters on MASH, in my defense.
You were trying to figure it out by singing the theme song. You're like, okay, it's like Alan.
Side is painless.
You wrote hail in and pen and then,
all of these things. Yeah, it just didn't occur to me that it was Alda.
Yeah.
All right, next story.
Alda, isn't that a grocery store? Oh, I can't.
They make you work at that grocery store.
You have to kill your own chicken.
To the 7 people who got that was the best joke ever. I give it to you. I don't like that Aldi's. I mean, nothing against them. Nothing against
Do not besmirch.
I'm not besmirching
the good
them.
name of Aldi.
It's just that I'm willing to pay double to not have to do work.
Not me.
More like pay triple. Must be nice.
Yeah, well, I don't want to go there and do my own work. You know what? I have a guy who has a guy who does my shopping for me. So I pay a guy in the middle just to tell the other guy to go do the shopping. That's how far removed I am from
He's your middleman.
So with all that time, you think that I get some more walking in.
Yeah, well, you can walk around Aldi and swing your arms and carry
your actors on MASH.
That's right.
Last name is Alda.
Yeah.
From New Jersey.
Next story.
Parsons? No.
Yeah, Parsons.
This next health story comes from WebMD.
Okay, they're good. I will not look at them, though, if I have any
You'll
sort of
have
symptom.
cancer.
Everyone has cancer.
I don't look symptoms up online. I don't care. I want to be surprised by death. I want to be surprised by death. Could be tomorrow. Could be 30 years from now.
Well, you're not going to like this headline.
Yeah.
Air pollution kills as many people as cigarettes, guys.
All right. First of all, I'm going to say this. BS.
You're going to call BS on
I'm
this
going to call BS, and I'll
Uh-oh.
tell you why.
Tell me why.
I'll tell you why. I'll bet you there isn't one death certificate in America where it says air pollution.
Air pollution.
That's a rather vague, generalized kind of idea here.
Yeah.
Isn't that air pollution? You're polluting your own air.
It is. But I mean, it's actually cancer of some kind. It's on plenty of death certificates. And if the guy has been smoking for 40 years, it's a pretty good clue if he died of lung cancer that had something to do with it. Air pollution, this is somebody trying to get some new tax or law passed to regulate my life. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah, it's like secondhand smoke killing more people than
Secondhand car exhaust,
something else that's not real.
Yeah, secondhand smoke. Nobody ever died from. Where's that? Where's that birth certificate? Secondhand smoke. Death certificate. Plenty were born.
Yeah, right. Well, that's from different kind of smoke.
I was born smoking.
Yeah, well, you seem as if you were born smoking.
I wouldn't be surprised with that, actually. Yeah,
you're gonna die smoking too.
So what they're saying is,
yeah, they told Tim's mom, like, you're very stressed out by your pregnancy. Here, smoke. It'll calm your nerves.
That's right. They told my mother that actually.
Tim said that they'll get my cigarette when they pry it from my cold dead fingers. And the doctor said, "Yeah, that's about right."
That's good.
That's right.
We'll pry it, put it out. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So move to the country is what this is basically saying. If you live in the city, you're going to get air pollution, and there's no
move to the country.
Move to the country.
Yeah,
but
where it
then
smells
everybody
like cow
moves to the
poop.
country.
Yeah, and then you
it
get
becomes
out
the
there.
city. Right.
Move to the country. This is a new thing with the hipsters. We're going to move to the country. I guarantee you, there's even a show on TV now because it appeals to the good life. No, it's the show where they go and they leave Brooklyn or something.
Yeah.
They go start their own farm because that's this big idea that the hipsters have. Here's my prediction.
Green Acres, wasn't it?
Green Acres was a fever dream. This one is a real sitcom, I think. So this is my prediction: is that the 90% of them are back in the city within 2 years.
Yeah.
They have no idea what it's like to actually work.
They can't get Wi-Fi, and they're like,
They don't have Starbucks.
Yeah, labor, hands, no Starbucks.
Yep, horses.
So.
Now, the example in this story, this air pollution.
You know, I moved to the country because, sometimes the smell of horse manure on a summer day is comforting.
Yeah. We can arrange that for you. We can get that in the city.
Honestly, I don't mind the smell of
my wife loves horses,
like
and when she was a kid, she loved horses. She rode horses, and she used to make extra money by sort of mucking out the stalls or whatever. That was when she was a teenager. And so to her, the memory, like that smell of horse manure and hay, like brings.
I took some horseback riding lessons.
Oh,
I did
did
a couple
you?
Oh, tell us more.
Oh, yeah.
Western shows.
Oh, did you? With that,
I won some ribbons.
With that cute hat on your head?
No, that's English riding. I did Western
my wife
riding.
did the English riding.
That's it. No helmets for her. Yeah,
She still had the outfit though, and hadn't grown out of it when our relationship started. So
and you were like, wear that tonight.
Yeah. Hey, look, I've never been around horse culture, so I wanted to see what it was like.
Well, the example
she could teach you
that hat, that helmet.
Ooh, she could break you, Eric.
Weird helmet,
and that riding crop.
She broke me more than 30 years ago.
Ooh, you're a naughty horse.
You're a naughty horse.
Ooh, you bucked me off.
That's the name of our podcast today, Naughty Horse.
Alan passed liquid through his nose when you said that there. So.
All right, as long as he isn't done doing the nose drinking.
That's right. Out is okay, not
Out
in, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, the nose is an exit, not
That's
an entrance.
right. There you go.
I've argued that for years.
Such a straight man you are, right? Yeah.
So next story.
Chemical burns. Maybe they.
Can I tell you something, Jared? When we're doing a thing, you should not get distracted trying to do other things. Just keep focused on one thing.
Well, I was fascinated with this air pollution thing because the example they cite is here in Atlanta, and they're comparing it to the streets of India. They're saying that the air pollution is so bad in Atlanta that this example is...
It's not even close.
So I was going
Have you ever been to India?
I've never been.
Me neither, but I know this. It's not even close.
Irreverent, entertaining, gut-busting,
very funny, and doesn't toe any party line.
I think it's a great show.
The Von Haessler Doctrine on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I don't have time to make fun of you for what you just did. We'll have to do that next time. Let's finish. Well, you started with the word chemical.
Chemical burns may be vaping lung damage source, guys.
So they're doing studies. And they call it basically kind of like pneumonia, right?
Yeah.
It's basically the heat. Is it the heat that's causing this sort of thing?
Yeah.
By the way, can I, Dr. Joe?
Yes.
Can we get together, even here on WSB when I was driving to work? Mm-hmm. Can we dispel this ridiculous notion that there's a vaping crisis going on?
I'm going to have to agree with you on this.
There's no vaping crisis going on.
I mean, I don't approve of vaping, but it's not a crisis. I'm with you on this, right?
I don't even. You really got to sit me down and mentally beat me up in order for me to agree that there's an opioid crisis going on. I know it's a big deal going on. I know people are losing their lives.
Right.
But to me, and then they use the word epidemic.
Yeah.
To me, an epidemic, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I associate it with things that my behavior really can't do a whole lot about. So if I'm just walking through a village in the 1700s,
right, you get the plague, right?
I get the plague. It's got nothing to do with my lifestyle. You could say, well, if you weren't walking in that village that day, to me. They'll say, the obesity crisis. Well, that's something people don't have to be obese.
Right.
You don't catch that by walking near another fat guy. So the idea of this, we just use these words like epidemic and crisis and crises that we're in. And I just don't see it with the vaping. And also opioids. I think that the idea that no one knew, I'm not buying.
No, we knew opioids were addictive, right?
Here's a pill that not only will make your back feel better, but it will make you feel as if you're really, really glad to be alive. Mm-hmm. It's going to put you in a euphoric state. And you come back years, what, a pill that puts you in a euphoric state? People got addicted to that?
Mm-hmm.
How is that even possible?
Yeah.
What in the world is this?
Uh-oh. Wow.
Of crisis.
Oh, crisis. Sabrina
There we go.
Cupid.
Sabrina Cupid to the
A
rescue.
time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger.
I would say that the vaping thing is a troublesome thing.
It's a troublesome thing. Sabrina Cupid always disagrees with me.
Our health reporter. She's our health reporter.
Thank you, Sabrina Cupid.
Yes.
But do we get knockdown drag-out fights?
Oh, yeah?
Here,
Yeah, she's
She's
kicking
like,
butt,
it
I
is a
think.
crisis. It's not a crisis.
I don't know. She's tough. She's got some biceps on.
You should hear what she says about you to Clark.
Oh, no, those two both hate me. Dr. Joe, how can people get in touch with you?
Sunday nights right here on WSB, 7 to 9. We do a live call-in show. My website, drjoe.com. Over 1,000 hours of podcasts.
I've watched every single hour.
Biggest fan.
Hour 3 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins now. A little out of breath. I don't know if people know this. On breaks, my pilot, the guy who runs the spaceship, Alan Hunt, and I, we do some Greco-Roman wrestling. And just a little bit out of breath. But it's good, right? It's good. But it's old men going at it, and we walk away both better for it and in better shape, I think. What do you got over there? You wanted to do some open mics?
Yes, I've got some open mics from the WSB radio app.
Yeah, you feel a little bit. I'm dripping. I'm sopping wet from that Greco-Roman wrestling.
You need like a towel.
Why do you get naked when you do it?
Because
I guess that's how you're supposed to.
That's the Greco part.
Yeah, you slick yourselves up.
That's the Greco part, right?
Yeah, Greco.
The Roman, the Greco.
Greco.
Yeah, Alan. No, don't listen, Alan. I told Alan he has to get nude. Don't tell him otherwise.
All right, I won't. You enjoy it. Knock yourselves out.
Otherwise, it would just be Roman wrestling.
Yeah,
Nobody
that's
wants
no
that.
fun.
You need the Greco.
It's like Tex-Mex.
Is it Greco rather than Greco?
It's Greco-Roman.
You ever do Tex-Mex wrestling? Woo!
I do Mex-Mex.
Spicy.
It's fajitas.
You got some some fajitas.
Yeah, sizzling.
This first open
I
mic.
like the cut of her fajitas.
Yeah.
This open mic is celebrating 285's 50th birthday, like
Hell
we did.
yeah,
early.
but go ahead. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Good morning, EVH and the Doctrinaires. Today I celebrated the birthday of I-285 by driving on it for 30 minutes at 5 miles per hour. Just those kind of memories that you cherish forever. They grow up so fast.
They certainly do. They certainly do. I had this information from me earlier. I think it said 60-some miles. I think the I-285 is 63 or 64 miles around, which is larger than I would have thought.
Yeah.
But I don't have it in front of me now, so if I'm wrong, just call another open mic and let me know I'm an idiot. Just start it with Eric. You're an idiot, and I'll know you're talking about the 285 anniversary. We'll get you right to the top.
Chris Swansea here, coming Georgia, Eric. I didn't like the new Joker movie. Me and my girl walked out of it. We both didn't like it at all. What Heath Ledger did in that one Batman movie can never be done again. And they went off a storyline, and plus there was just not enough action.
Now, I haven't. Jared saw it last night. I have a lot of friends who've seen it. They love it. Most people who've seen it love it. Critics don't love it. It takes a lot for me to walk out of a movie.
Yeah.
I've fallen asleep in movies, but I usually still stick it out.
I walked out of Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah, well, I think the mistake was walking into that one.
What were you, 10?
Yeah, I was with my dad, and we were just like, "Good."
Wait, was that a Mel Brooks movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was kind of losing it.
But it's
right?
when he's lost his mind by then.
Well, he's like 94. He gives interviews. He's fine. I think he just
No,
made
but
a bad
hello,
movie.
he's lost his comedy mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I was never.
All right, Men in Tights is actually funny if you go back and watch it, but not in a movie theater.
So you and your dad, what did you do? Did you go? You say, "I'll take you some ice cream or something," because he had to know he failed as a dad.
Yeah, it was kind of like a bonding thing.
Wow.
I bet you it was nice for him to say, like, "All right, she's got a keen sense of humor."
You were like, "Hey, let's blow this popsicle stand."
Yeah.
I'm not into this.
This movie stinks, is what I said, and then I walked out of there.
And then your dad, I feel like you've paid your money. You might as well. It's dark in there. You can go to sleep.
Yeah, you could easily step out, get some concessions.
I fell asleep in Rain Man when that was out.
Really?
Yes.
That was a long time ago. You were young.
I drank a fifth of wild turkey on the way to the theater.
That's what I usually do for
Yeah,
most
you
of my...
get ready for Rain Man by getting drunk.
Yeah,
It's the best movie to see wasted.
You got to pregame for Dustin Hoffman films.
Yeah.
Best if you're loaded. What are you getting all drunk before you go see Rain Man?
I don't know. I was 19. I'm like, yeah, party. Got to get drunk. Drunk, Rain Man.
See, pre-gaming for a movie. I never heard of such a thing.
Well, we got drunk when we went to see the Sex and the City movie, but that was kind of like
that was girls doing your thing, right? You were probably having Cosmos and
we brought
really
them in like a
being
thermos.
Total sheep and just doing what you're told by the entertainment
No, we did it for
industry.
we understood.
Yeah, all right.
No, we weren't like, oh my god, it's gonna be amazing.
We're the first ones to think of this. We're going to drink Cosmos before we see Sex in the City. I heard the movie was terrible.
Oh, it is terrible, but it's so visually fun to watch.
Oh, really?
Like if it came on TV right now, I would still watch it. I would laugh at how horrible it is, but it's just so beautiful. It's the saturation is really jacked up on it.
She liked the cinematography.
Mm-hmm. She's looking at it is nice.
She's tipping her cap to the director of photography.
You know, they're wearing fun clothing. They're doing,
that's a good movie.
expensive things.
That's why I like Citizen Kane. They're wearing fun clothing. That's what I found.
Listen, you like circus peanuts, okay?
Right.
You're allowed to like dumb things.
Let me tell you something. You can't hold that against me and throw that at me every
You
damn
can be a
time.
person who enjoys
hold on.
white trash food, but then also be an intellectual who loves Citizen Kane. Those two can both exist. How dare you?
Yes. First of all, the tossing around of the white trash. Let me just say this. I am sick and tired of having to stand up for the honor and integrity of the circus peanut all alone. Because I understand how markets work. If I was the only person alive who liked circus peanuts, they wouldn't be available in every store that I walk into. So I eat the circus peanuts and I admit it. And others don't.
Hey, listen, Big Bang Theory has 1 billion seasons and 1 billion watchers. That doesn't mean it's good.
I'm brave, and I admit that I eat circus peanuts. And since I started my little diet, I don't eat any candy. This is going to be the first.
You still like those things.
I did like those, and I'm proud of it.
Still do.
And I have pride. We have the Circus Peanut Pride Parade this weekend.
Oh.
For those of us who are not going to be shamed into the
shut
corner
down all of Midtown again.
and admit our
I am
love
not shaming
for
you.
circus peanuts.
You are shaming me.
You are shaming my peanut, my love.
No, I'm not.
My
I'm
love for
illustrating that
peanuts.
both of these things can exist. You can be an intellectual, but also enjoy dumb things.
Shaming my love for peanuts. And that's why I'm going to have a parade to let people
Listen,
know.
I support your parade.
Okay. Do you support my love for peanuts?
No, but for circus peanuts, yes.
Circus peanuts.
Real peanuts or circus peanuts? Which do you prefer?
I would have to say, as far as staple of a diet, real peanuts you can do so much more. For
Georgia,
instance,
I'd hope
you
too.
can't really make.
If you had a bowl
circus
of circus
peanut butter.
peanuts, if I handed you a bowl of circus peanuts or a bowl of regular peanuts, which would you take a piece out of?
I mean, it depends on the time of day.
Well, what time of day is it right
4 in the
now? Take
morning.
it now.
Right now?
Yeah.
You can only have a couple circus peanuts.
Oh, I'm not saying how many. I'm just saying which would you put your hand in first? Circus peanuts. I rest my case. Jared, next story.
I think you have circus peanut envy.
Don't bring me into it.
Oh, yeah. It's 11:15, and I made a promise to my audience. And when Eric Von Haessler makes a promise to his audience, well, he usually forgets about it. But that music made me remember that we have tickets to give away. Not just one pair, but 2 pair.
They got so lucky today.
Tickets.
2 pair. That means 4.
Yeah. UGA versus Kentucky in Athens this weekend. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm told that you do not have to call back. You're just the winners. I'm going to read your name.
Correct.
And do I have to read this? I also have date of birth and phone numbers. Do I have to read out their phone numbers on the air as well?
No, you do not have to do that.
Okay. The winner, Jake Valinga, I believe, of Marietta. Doesn't really matter because it's not one of those things. We know who you are. We're going to get in touch. You signed up. And Greg Champion. That's easy. He's a champion.
He wins at everything.
What, Greg Champion? Like he needs another free thing. He wins everywhere he goes. You better if your last name's Champion. Like you can't be Mr.
You're
Champion.
a real loser.
Hey, go talk to Mr. Champion. He's been working in the mailroom for 17 years.
Someday I'm going to get promoted.
Greg Champion of McDonough and Jake Valinga of Marietta. We will be in touch because you plus one are going to see UGA versus Kentucky this weekend in Athens. Yes.
And remember, you out there for the next couple of weeks.
You out there. I'm talking to you.
Yeah, you out there, not us in this room.
Yeah.
You out there can sign up
My
for
friend
tickets.
you out there?
Yes, your friend you out there can sign up too because she is out there as well. But you can sign up on the WSB radio app. We're going to be giving away tickets on Tuesdays for the next couple weeks to all these home games in Athens. I said homecoming games.
Yeah, well, that's because you're thinking about your homecoming to your alma mater.
Hey, listen, I'm thinking about only this school right now.
You know what his alma mater is?
West Georgia.
It's called Little Teeny Tiny College.
Oh, yeah.
Go Wolves. Oh. All right, what's the next story?
I have another open mic for you.
Why do wolves, aren't wolves dumb?
No.
Wolves are incredibly intelligent. Pack animals.
What do they want from the moon?
They're not
Why
howling
the
at
howling
the moon.
at the moon? They're howling at the moon. Well, why are they standing? I've seen so many pictures. The moon is in the sky, and the wolves are howling.
Why do you wake up at 4:30 in the morning every morning?
Because I come here to make money. I just signed a
Wolf doesn't have to go make money.
If you just signed
I want to know where this logic was going.
There's no logic there. $25 trillion a year contract like I did. I got to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I got a job to do.
Your $25 million contract is something different to a wolf.
Trillion.
Their contract is, I have to,
they
tell
want?
other wolves about my territory or something.
What do they want from the moon? Are they trying to tell the moon, hey, I urinated over here. Don't you come over to my territory? Yeah. What are they telling the moon? They're just so dumb. They see it every day. Like, what's that?
It's the hunter moon.
Oh, yeah. That's another
You sounded
thing.
just like a wolf there.
It's just the moon.
Good.
It's just the moon. This thing's called the hunter moon. I haven't noticed a damn thing different about it. Oh, the hunter's moon. It's the moon. Why are there so many names for the moon? It's a big, dumb, dead rock 250,000 miles away that helps us with our tides.
Well, then why do you want to get back to it so badly?
Get back to the moon?
Yeah, you're always like, we haven't landed on the moon.
Well, because somebody else is going to get up there, and then we won't be the number one badass.
Now you're the wolf. Now you're the wolf.
Oh my God! I never thought it would happen.
Oh.
Now,
do you want to know why?
Wolf.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know why wolves howl?
Why?
Is this a joke?
This reminds me of a Prince song. I know why doves cry.
Why wolves howl.
But I don't know what happens.
It is the most direct way of communicating across long distances, and especially important.
Yeah, they think there's another wolf.
What I said.
They think there's another wolf on the moon. That they're talking to.
It's especially important in areas where wolf territories are vast.
Listen to me. This is why wolves bark at the moon and howl at the moon. Because they're stupid and they don't know what the moon is. And it freaks them out, and they think the moon, when it's really big and bright, it's coming for their territory, and they're warning it off. They're like, you better back off, moon, because they're dumb. He's barking at the moon, Ozzy. So, yeah, I contend that the reason that wolves howl at the moon is because they're dumb. I mean, listen to them. Those seem like smart creatures to you? Oh, he's howling. I'll howl too. Dumb.
It says specifically.
Animals are dumb.
It says specifically.
You're an animal.
Well, those kind of the lower animals.
What about dolphins?
I'm a higher animal.
Yeah, what about dolphins or
I don't know.
pandas?
Have a conversation with a dolphin. Tell me how that goes.
I don't speak squeak.
National Geographic says specifically that wolves do not howl at the moon. They howl to communicate with each other.
Oh.
They howl to.
How come the moon's there then all the time with the moon?
Because of the werewolves.
Oh, so werewolves do howl.
Yeah, while they're changing.
See, you're confused. Werewolves are dumb, not wolves.
Wolves are dumb.
Thank you, Autumn.
Okay,
Thank you.
They're howling to communicate?
Yes.
Let me listen real close. Listen real close. Hold on. Start over again. I'll translate.
Okay.
This howl. I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving, hysterical.
That sounds really smart.
Well, I didn't say that there weren't good poets amongst the wolf packs.
No.
But most of them are dumb.
No.
Animals are dumb. You haven't noticed this? Do you know that there's not one house pet that I've ever had in my life that has a favorite Shakespeare play? There's a reason for that. They're not bright.
They've never given you some good advice.
No, never once. Those dummies. Tim Andrews is putting the finishing touches on his latest show sketch, which is going to be the cover art for today's podcast, which will be called Naughty Horse. And it's a classic. He's got the bridle, and there's a ball gag right there in the middle of it.
Instead of the bit, yeah, it's a ball
Instead of the bit. From bit to ball gag.
Yeah.
If you follow your quantum
Beautiful
physics.
stallion.
Oh, absolutely. A naughty stallion.
Although it might be a gelding, depending on how kinky they are.
Well, you'll just have to download the podcast and find out. Do you have some open mics and stuff before we go to the Doctrine Extra?
I have a comment from our Facebook page.
A comment?
This comes from Daniel, who is
He's comparing two different shows. He's comparing our show to another show here on WSB.
And Facebook has given him the little coffee icon that says that he's a conversation starter.
Wow.
So they like Daniel.
Well, let's all sit up straight and listen in here.
He says, Rush, impeachment. Believe it or not, folks, the Dems really think they can do this. EVH. What do wolves really want with the moon? This is why I listen from 9 to noon every day.
Yes.
We talk about wolves.
You got your thing. I got my thing. Yeah, you got the.
My thing makes money.
Well, my thing makes money for me.
What happened to that turkey you were going to do when you're going to rip off Rush Revere? I don't see your turkey.
I talk about things. Sometimes I don't actually do them. I don't have a lot of follow through. I'm an ideas guy, Rush. I don't have a lot of follow through. You got a staff. How many people are you paying over there? You got a whole staff.
Just snurdly.
I don't have a staff. I don't have a bunch of people in a warehouse somewhere.
You got a mic polisher.
A mic polisher.
I have a mic polisher. Includes the gold EIB mic.
I don't have that. But yeah, I think it makes for a great all day long listening, where some people talk about impeachment nonstop, and then some people talk about the original FISA warrant nonstop, and then there's people like me, where I point out just how stupid animals are, and that makes it. Rush, please stop with the papers.
Well, I don't know how dumb they are.
We cover different things here.
Some are smart and some aren't.
Let's do this.
It's the stories we just couldn't miss. It's the Doctrine Extra.
And we can also throw in open mics that we have, because there's a lot of audio that we haven't gotten to. So it's all up to you here, Mr.
All
Jared
right.
Yamamoto. I turned the programming of the last 30 minutes of this radio show, why am I doing this, over to you, Jared Yamamoto.
That's a lot of pressure there.
You toss it at me, and I'll toss it back.
Well,
right?
Yeah.
Huh? That's
sounds
okay,
right.
isn't it? Rush, I didn't mean anything by it.
We have a lot of audio regarding the situation in Turkey now. And the latest on that is that President Trump has imposed sanctions on Turkey for their aggression in Syria.
Uh-huh.
And now
supposedly we're going to crush their economy.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to crush their economy. Trump called Turkey and said, "Hey, knock it off," or something like that. And,
cut it out.
Yeah, basically. And I think all this was baked in by Erdogan from the very beginning. He knew that we were going to respond. But I mean, we rolled out the red carpet for all of this. Everything that we thought was going to happen is happening. So now you got to own it, right? If you're the president, say, "I don't care about that. I don't believe in being there, and it's okay. Slaughter the Kurds. Let ISIS run free." I still stand by what I said, which is I don't want to be caught up in this endless war, right? That's what Trump needs to say. And as I said earlier about China and to the people in Hong Kong, those days are over. It's embarrassing to me, but my job is to objectively look at the world and bring it to my listeners. And an objective view of I'd say Americans just don't give a damn about anybody anywhere else, whether they have freedom, whether they don't have freedom. You can blame the neocons for getting us knee deep into, losing a lot of soldiers and, blood and treasure in the 2000s. I understand that. Maybe it's an overreaction to that. But the simple fact is, if you are yearning for freedom somewhere on the planet Earth, America is closed as far as any sort of moral support for you. The American people do not care about anyone who is not an American. It's that simple. That's where we are now. And because in their minds, they believe that if you care, then you have to send soldiers or you have to police the planet. And that's not true. They've been sold a bill of goods. But once the goods are sold, the bill is they've been sold the bill of goods.
Well, Lindsey Graham disagrees with
Lindsey Graham is going to be that way. But Lindsey Graham ain't winning these days. The winning thing right now in America is we don't give a damn about anyone who isn't us. Our gay leaders don't care about gay people who aren't in America. LeBron James does not care about any oppression unless it happens in America. The president doesn't care about what's going on in Hong Kong and has made clear it's going to have nothing to do with any economic deal that he strikes with China. Good, bad, or ugly, everyone knows how I feel about this sort of thing. I think it's important that anybody who's oppressed around the world at least know that America is on their side. But those days are over. That's just the reality. Maybe it's a phase. Maybe we come back to it. Maybe we find a happy medium where you can support people without sending your soldiers over there and policing the planet. I don't know. But the truth is, right now, I've been yelled at for days by listeners because I still give a damn about the people who fought and died next to us. But people don't see it that way. They just say, they live over there, we live over here. Let them work it out. They don't care that 11,000 Kurds died helping us push ISIS back. They simply don't care. And that's where we are right now. To hell with the rest of the world. Whether you're on the left, the right, or in the center. In America, people in America no longer give a damn about freedom unless it's in America.
Now, Lindsey Graham says that Turkey will feel these impacts.
Yeah, he was rooting for South Carolina over the weekend. What the hell do I care what he thinks?
There's going to be.
What's that,
I
Lindsey?
said go Cox.
You really like them, don't you?
I think the Cox are going to go wild the rest of the season.
Yeah, you really like them a lot.
I sure do.
There's going to be crippling sanctions imposed by the Congress to supplement what President Trump's administration has done.
Blah, blah, blah. They worked it all in. Erdogan's not an idiot. He knew that this stuff was coming. You know, it's going to happen. And Erdogan is a Machiavellian. He like Putin. What he knows is going to happen. Is anybody talking about the spy in England who got poisoned? Nobody. It just life moves on. And he knows he's going to take a hit now. And he can do what he wants to do on the world stage. And in 6 months or a year, Trump may or may not, in a year or so, be president for him. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Time's going to move on. Turkey is a market. Things will go back to the way they were. And he's willing to just absorb whatever pain is coming right now. And the idea that we're reacting like it's a surprise to us, it's not a surprise to us. When we pulled back, we knew this was going to happen. You have more, Lindsey Graham?
We're going to send a signal to Turkey that's unmistakable.
Shut up.
Oh, you don't understand. It's going to be. We're going to send the Cox over there.
Let me tell you what progressive liberals and staunchly conservative military veteran conservatives both believe right now. If you don't live in this country, we do not give a damn about you or your plight or whether you're free or whether you're not. Those days are over. That's just the way that people feel, and that's just the way. If you play one more soundbite from Lindsey Graham,
we're going to send
I will come over this console and punch you in the face. And I don't want to have to do that.
I hope not.
I'm not a violent man. There's something about your face makes me violent, but I am not. I'm going to fight it.
We're going to send.
You're pushing me.
We're going to.
I see a story here that says John Bolton, remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Called Rudy Giuliani a hand grenade in a report. He says once he found out what Giuliani, man, you got to look into this stuff. I don't think that it's impeachable. I mean, they'll impeach because they're going to impeach, but I don't think it's really a high crime or misdemeanor or whatever. But it's a bunch of, you look into what Giuliani's been doing in Ukraine since January. Just like, what are you up to? Rudy Giuliani, every time I see him now, I just think, to me, this is what he's saying to me when I see him on TV. Hey, Rudy Giuliani here, doing everything I can to spoil that image I got back around 9/11 as America's mayor, the guy everybody loved, Mr. Sunshine. But this is John Bolton said, apparently before he left, he called Giuliani a hand grenade who's going to blow everybody up. And then at one part, he said, I am not part of whatever drug deal Rudy and Mulvaney are cooking up, told White House lawyers. It's just a lot of, none of this stuff is necessary. There's nothing, I mean, Trump has good economy going. First of all, we tend to reelect presidents in this country. When you got a good economy on your side, it's almost a slam dunk. It's not a slam dunk. It's never a slam dunk. But we usually, the incumbency of the presidency, the Oval Office, it usually lends itself to 4 more years. But these guys get in there and they get so paranoid. And what's obvious to me is somewhere they started looking at these stupid polls that said everybody was going to beat them by, and the truth is, polls a year and a half away from an election, everybody always wants somebody else. It's a different matter when it comes down to 2 people. And now you're just choosing A or B, and it's not the whole world. So anytime you poll, I don't care who the president is, a year and a half out, yeah, get somebody else in there, these guys. And that's how it goes. But they must have really been weirded out by this. And Giuliani over there, what I'm saying is Trump has no need to bring down Hunter Biden or even Joe Biden through Ukraine in order to win. And you get your personal lawyer over there doing shady things and making deals. It's because, I don't know, something about the Oval Office makes people paranoid about, just look, if you deliver a good economy, I would say 8 times out of 10, that alone is going to get you reelected in the United States. I think he's still the odds-on favorite. But this stuff is just not necessary. And it's absurd the way people are, on both sides, are being ridiculous. This morning, this Lou Dobbs, who used to be an economics guy, and for a while ran space.com, is now Trump's North Korean female broadcaster. You know that lady who gives the word from. So I see he's like, only rhinos are criticizing Trump for the Syrian pullout. It's just words, just letters falling out of a guy's face, not meaning anything. What is the proof of that? That no real Republican thinks that this was a bad way to pull out. It's just name calling. Then you start name calling in your own caucus. Everything's just name calling and personality. Nobody's talking about policy. Are you for this? Are you against that? Were you for tariffs before Trump? Because let me tell you something. If you're a Republican who vocally and publicly said you were in favor of tariffs before Trump, I didn't hear you, and I got to feel like you would have stood out. But now, so the Republican Party all my life, and before I was born, was adamantly opposed to tariffs, blamed the Great Depression on tariffs. And now, 2.5 years into a Republican president, the idea is that only rhinos, Republicans in name only, are against tariffs. That's turning a yacht on a dime. How do you? There should be a newsletter. If you don't want to be called a rhino, this is what you have to say today. Because I'm telling you the truth. I'm 55 years old. All of my life, the Republican Party has been against tariffs and has always blamed the Great Depression on tariffs. Now, if there's going to be a change of heart, whatever. But 2.5 years in, any Republican who doesn't like tariffs is a rhino? Lou Dobbs, the North Korean news lady for the Trump administration. All right, what else do you have? We only have a couple minutes here.
A new survey finds that millennials have less than 7 hours of relaxation time per week. And I feel that. I agree with that one.
It's so much harder for the millennials.
It is.
The life is so hard now with the ubiquitous running water and electricity and everybody having a smartphone and not having to no draft, no conscription. Yeah, it's definitely harder than the people who fought Hitler. And in that generation, it definitely is definitely a lot harder.
But we have hectic home and work lives.
Yeah, that's got to be really, really hard. You know what wusses this generation is? They have the easiest life, and they've convinced themselves they have the hardest. Good sign of a lot of wussness going on.
How much of that is real, and how much of it is just this author
saying
that millennials don't like anything?
It's fake, but I like beating up on the millennials.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, it's fun.
A staggering 9
Plus,
to 10.
everybody here tells me that even though the audience is growing like crazy, if I don't stop going after millennials, they won't come aboard. But you know what? I think most millennials enjoy it.
I just think that we know how to multitask so well, and we just forget
if
that. If
you know how to multitask so well, then why are you so stressed out?
Because we just want to gain so much knowledge. That's what it is, and we're here to fix you guys.
Has the government ever come and told you have to go to war whether you like it or not? It seems to me other generations had to deal with that, and that would mean right there alone, your life is easier. All right, that music tells me it's time for the rants to stop. It's time for me to stop pointing out how stupid the lower animals are, because this show is done, at least on the radio side. But we're never done, because we go and do the podcast 30. How can people join us?
There are two places, Eric. You can go
Thank
to...
you, Jared.
You are so welcome. You can go to the Von Haessler Doctrine Facebook page or the WSB Radio Facebook page. There are two separate streams. All you have to do is click the red box on either of those Facebook pages, and you can watch us in the studio.
A rhino would say something like that. All right, we're going to come back tomorrow. Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
What's the pop culture podcast that features 3 aging Gen Xers and 1 dirty Zennial? It's Radio Labyrinth, hosted by Tim Andrews, Jeff Leboff, Stephanie Swain, and Autumn Fisher. Movies, TV, podcasts, comic books, music, and a labyrinth of tales about ourselves. You'll enjoy comedy, improv, impersonations, and recommendations for the coolest stuff you can watch, listen, or read. Check out Radio Labyrinth on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you catch your podcasts. Check us out at RadioLabyrinthPodcast.com.
Like current events and want to be the smartest among your friends? Then the Power Pod is the show for you.
The Power Pod is a weekly recap show where we cover the current events of the week.
It's a show where we're not afraid to get serious. And we're not afraid to have some fun.
So try us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, the WSB Radio app, WSBRadio.com, Stitcher, CastBox. Okay. Anywhere there are podcasts, we are there. So power up with the Power Pod.
All right, podcast 30 starts right about now. Hell yeah. You see, it's kind of an allusion to sex. I don't know if you picked up on that.
Kinda.
Yeah. Tim Andrews is here. J-Rad rocking the tunes. This guy never got used to sex. He has to talk about it all the time.
Put your ball gag in your mouth.
Act like you've been there before, fella. That's what I say. Autumn Fisher is going to be joining us. And look who's here. It's Tad Tuesday.
Oh, hello.
Oh, could she have been louder? Autumn,
she
could
came
you
in
be
like
louder?
a wrecking ball, this one.
She comes in, she drops the bowl,
Eating.
she's chewing, she's the headphones are.
I'm so sorry, I didn't know I wasn't muted.
Boy, if that was a plane landing, that would not have been a soft landing.
I ran up here as fast. I'm sorry, I didn't know the mic wasn't muted.
Let me tell you, there are people in the cabin with fresh cuts and bruises after that landing.
Sorry,
and it is Tad Tuesday, so Tad Lemire from B98 Point, whatever, is here to join us. Did you have questions? You look like you've walked in with questions, Tad.
No, you made a reference to a cabin. Is that where Autumn is in a different place? It doesn't look like her
She's
usual.
not in the cabin.
Oh,
She's
okay.
The cabin I meant was in the plane where the people.
the cabin.
Oh,
he
sorry.
doesn't.
No, I'm in my closet.
They don't do deep humor like us over there. You know,
Right,
it's
no.
different for him. He does
Very
stuff like
surface
that.
level.
He does
surface level.
So what do you get? He does trivia contest stuff. There's
Right,
nothing wrong
right.
with that. There's
Oh,
nothing
hey,
wrong with that.
Where in the world is Autumn Prince Fisher?
Who played the Joker in the
It's,
1989 Batman?
Exactly. It's the impossible mind-bender trivia. Caller 20.
Do you have? Is that the one where you can't look it up? We used to do that with the regular guys. We called it Google-proof trivia.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
came
good.
up with that thing.
Yeah.
Those
Oh,
were
you
good.
did.
You came up with that?
The name, yeah.
Yeah. This
But if you
trivia
think about it, it's the
would
worst
go on
kind of
forever.
radio possible. It's like, it's something that, and you're given a clue, and people
Yeah.
are like, is it a baseball bat? You're like, no, next
No, it's
caller.
not.
Like, there's no conversation that comes out
I
of
counted
that.
the flowers on an Oreo cookie. There's flowers on the
Right.
baked part of it on both sides, and it said there are 98 of these.
Right, there's
That was
and then-
that was the question.
Yeah, sent
Oh, that's it? Just
Yeah.
there are 98 of these.
Yeah, there's.
You got to figure out what that is. How long did that? Was that after I was gone? I don't remember.
No, you
that.
were there.
Are they flowers or are they those New Orleans Saint logo things? Oh, those
Fleur de lis.
Fleur de lis.
Well, those are flowers.
They are. They're flowered.
See, the Pope tweeted that, accidentally tweeted that.
Did you see that, Tad?
No.
That would have been good material
we
for
don't
the
really
morning
do prep.
show.
We don't really
we don't talk
show
sports.
prep.
We don't talk about the Pope.
Right.
The Pope, they just made new saints in some Pope factory. They named new saints, and they put them out there. And he tweeted, congratulations or whatever, these new saints. And they put the emojis they used. One was the papal hat. And then the other one was the Norman Saints logo.
Because he did hashtag
He used
Saints.
the hashtag Saints.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
Right, hashtag.
Oh,
and so it was Saints and then Saints. And then they won, and then they thanked him. Which wasn't fair. Who'd they win against? So you got the Pope on your side. That's not fair.
Did they beat the Cowboys? Or was that
The
That
Devils?
was the Jets.
No, the Jets beat the Cowboys. Beat
Isn't
them
there
up.
like
crazy.
a Devils?
Huh?
Isn't there a Devils that they
Yeah,
can play?
there's a New Jersey Devils, but that's
There you go.
hockey.
Oh, that'd be fun though.
Yeah, they don't have many Devil teams anymore. There used to be a lot. There's the Arizona Sun Devils or something, right? Devils of
New Jersey. They
New
have
Jersey
the
is
New
the
Jersey Devils, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of Devils. There used to be a lot of Devils, but I think now it's considered a bad thing to have the Devil as a mascot because they just figured it out. That the Devil is actually the opposite of good.
Oh.
Some would say the
Devil
devil's in
stands for-
control of our culture now.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why? Because you don't like people getting human rights after all this time?
That's what it is.
Some would say the devil's
I
in
didn't
the
say me.
details.
The Devil,
Is this how you play this game?
Yeah, no, it's not. But it's okay. We appreciate your effort.
Okay.
However,
I'll take my answer off air.
we'd appreciate that.
Thanks in advance.
I love those people who call in shows. Like they're gonna be, hey, first time caller, long time listener.
First time, long time. Yeah.
Oh,
Mega
wow.
dittos.
That is so impressive. But at least mega dittos, like you're saying, I'm part of your army, right?
Right, I
your
guess.
nation. But the first time, long time is everywhere.
You mean you've been listening to me for 30 years and this is the first time you called? I've been waiting.
I know somebody who got on the air with him on the phone, and you wait like an hour and a half or 2 hours. Most people just sit there and wait.
The
for
EIB
hours.
network, what's crazy is at WSB we have 9 phone lines.
Yeah.
EIB network, 5.
Yeah, Rush's
5
show
phone
would be
lines.
better if they had none. I cannot stand listening to people. Hi. I got in my car. I've only got 20 minutes, but I don't want to hear what Rush has to say about the events of the day. I want to hear what some housewife in Topeka has to say.
Hey, this is Tammy from Topeka.
Yeah.
I just think he's getting the short end of the stick.
Who?
Who we're talking about. And,
Come on,
I just
Tammy,
think
you got to bring it.
I just think no, I'm bringing it, and I bring the bacon. I bring home the bacon. I'm a single mother. I love
Don't
my children.
care.
Is that the right show? I love I'm a mother to my children.
Deadbeat dad.
How'd you feel last Friday when you tuned in?
Yes, hi. Mark Stein, Open Like Friday.
I don't like Mark
We're
Stein.
going to be talking. I know, I like him too, but no one really likes me on this show.
I like when
they
he
want
go-
Rush.
I like when he goes, he's a funny guy, but sometimes he sets up a thing and it's like long and meandering and he's like deep in it and he has to figure out how to bring it home, but he's like 2.5 minutes
I'm
into
nowhere
an
near as
analogy.
good as Rush, and I can't land it. Call in, 866-8686. No, wait.
I do like it.
That's the old Phil Hendry phone number.
Is that the one you used to call in with your voices?
No, I never called in.
No?
No.
You didn't need to.
No, because he already had it.
He already had people. You would be playing the role of like the angry listener.
I can't believe it.
People don't know who Phil Hendry is.
But let me ask you this:
He had his own sitcom for about a minute and a half.
Teachers.
Isn't like radio evolving where that is the what you're saying is absolutely true? But
What did I say? I forgot.
that the callers are not. What did they say? That was the special sauce or whatever. But
Oh,
it's
no,
true.
no,
Nobody
when
really wants to
When
hear.
I first went to KLSX, when they turned it into a FM talker, the guy who's on here on the weekends, what does he call himself? Walt Silver? Sterling? Walt Silver?
Walt Silver.
Silver
Oh,
or Sterling?
yeah.
Sterling Silver.
He's on. His real name is Walt Sabo, and he was a guru for a long time, and he was the consultant that brought me to Los Angeles. And in the first meeting, by the way, this is in 1995, probably late July or early August 95. The OJ trial's going on.
Oh yeah.
A week earlier, before I end up in this meeting, let's say 2 weeks earlier, my jobs were in Rochester, New York. I was producing a morning show that didn't exist. I was helping my wife clean the daycare center where she worked twice a week. And then suddenly I was in a meeting of Only Talent before we went on the air, and it was me and Cato Kalin.
Is it Walter Sterling?
Walter, well, here's what he calls himself now.
Okay.
He's on the weekends. Me, Cato Kalin, Cindy Brady, Ken Ober when he was alive, and a few other people suddenly in this room were about to go on. And Walt Sabo then said that the callers are the records. So he's trying to tell us old DJs that the callers are the records. And then after a couple of years, I began to realize, yeah, but they're really bad records that wouldn't chart. So let's get rid of the callers. But yeah, that guy, he's still on the weekends here, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on
Walter
Sunday nights.
Sterling. He's the man who discovered Eric Von Haessler and put him on in Los Angeles.
He cut into Kim Commando's syndicated show. She used to be on from 9 to midnight.
And we only get what do we only get?
We only get 1 hour of Kim Commando.
Tell me about it, buddy. I know that's all like. Kim Commando and I could team up and do 1 hour together.
Yeah, Hannity and Commando are upset.
I can't get a Jewel at Walgreens anymore. What's this world coming to?
Things are turning.
Turning the wrong way.
Got the impeachment thing going on. Everything was coming up roses not too long ago. Look who's here. English Nick.
TikTok.
TikTok. You say TikTok.
TikTok.
I thought you'd say tic-tac.
Tic-tac.
Talk tick. Hey, TikTok on Brexit, pal.
Well, we got 15
days or so? 15 days.
Yeah.
Not or so. You got 15. Well, it's 15, 16, 31.
Well,
so
like 15 days.
31st.
We'll reach
so
a
you
deal,
get
won't
16.
we?
What's that?
We'll reach a deal, won't we? I'm
I haven't kept up
positive.
with it for about a week. I heard the thing about Merkel having a conversation
You know
with
what I
Boris.
think about stuff like that now? It's like impeachment here. Get back to me when it's over. I'm not going to follow
just
it every
run
day.
it, yeah.
Hey, today in impeachment, so-and-so said. Who gives a damn?
Yeah, but when we bring it up, though, we bring out Snacky, and Snacky hasn't come out at all this week.
Snacky has not come out. Snacky, not now because I don't have your music.
I
But,
have the Project Veritas video.
Yeah, are those convincing? What was that all about?
I watched the whole thing. You know what it is?
They're
Turns out they don't like Trump.
They're always a letdown. These things.
I know they are.
It's the promise. So what was this one? What was the promise?
They have
of this
Jeff
one?
Zucker on the phone complaining. We're just going to talk about impeachment all day, and then someone
CNN,
said,
right,
and someone says, well, MSNBC is doing a town hall about. I don't care what they're doing.
We're
going
just
to talk
going
about
impeachment.
impeachment.
Yeah,
and it's not a shocker at all.
It's not a shocker because their job is to keep people from turning the station. And so they got that niche audience that wants to sit around and, have their way with themselves as they listen to some impeachment talk.
And they're calling this guy a whistleblower. He's an employee there that's obviously going to get fired now. And if he doesn't, everyone he works with is going to hate him.
Well, is he outed?
Yeah, he's outed himself.
Well, he should be fired because he worked with an outside organization to bring down his place. If the proper thing to do had been to quit and write a book about it or something along those lines, you don't work against.
He surreptitiously recorded his coworkers.
Yeah, that's wrong. Don't you think?
I do.
What if he was paid? Somebody on the other side paid him. Let's do this. Let's get this out there.
Well, Veritas did.
Did they pay him to do it?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I don't know. Project Veritas, that guy, I don't know. He weirds me out. He said, what's his name? James O'Keefe or whatever?
Yeah.
He just sort of weirds me out.
That
Everybody
acorn
loves him.
thing, yeah.
All the right people on the right, they love him so much. It's like, what's the difference between this guy and Michael Moore except for world perspective?
Yep.
It's, he cheats just like Michael Moore does to, get his point across. Tad doesn't have anything to say about that because they're neutral.
Non-political.
Neutral.
I'm Sweden.
They're neutral on politics over there.
Radio Sweden.
Hey, they have Greta Thunberg.
No, it's not our job to talk about politics on the music radio. That's your job down the dial right here at WSB News and Talk.
I've advocated that throne, that crown.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even like doing that. I think politics is boring. I think if I was not on the radio,
you wouldn't even look at it.
I wouldn't give a damn.
You love it, though. You do love it. Come on, you've studied it for years.
That's right. You've been following it for so long.
Yeah, but there used to be two sides, and there was reasonable stuff, and you could decide who was right and who was wrong. Now it's just a bunch of
quagmire,
loud people screaming at each other all the time. Nobody wants to get anything done. I'm a doer. I want to get things done. You got a problem? You want to solve it? Okay, how do we solve it? We'll take a little bit of yours.
Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it.
What? Huh?
Nothing.
What happened?
If you got a problem,
you accidentally did some Vanilla Ice.
Yeah. Did I?
Yeah.
It would be accidental because I never heard it.
I don't know it.
What did I do? What song?
If you got a problem, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it.
Oh.
Ice, baby.
Oh, I know Ice
Word
Baby.
to your mother.
I thought...
Classic.
Yeah, well, he is a doer. This Vanilla Ice. He's a problem solver.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember he had
I
a
did that
show.
Motorcycle movie.
He had a show. Isn't that funny? He got a movie. I think all these. We should have a film festival. Just all. Vanna White got a horrible movie. He got a terrible movie. What was Vanilla Ice's movie?
Cool as ice.
Okay, Cool as Ice. Bosworth, remember he did nothing in the NFL?
that guy.
He got a movie. Howie Long got a movie.
He was in Broken Arrow, which is a good movie.
Okay, but no, he had a starring role in some movie where he was a firefighter in the forest or something.
I can't believe Queen stole this riff.
Yeah.
Terrible. That John Deacon.
He claims this is not a. He did not. He says
he's
there's a little
admitted
difference. There's a difference in the baseline.
At the end of the riff. Come on. I saw him at a bowling alley once a few years back.
Was he working there?
It was a radio.
You spray your shoes.
It was a radio event.
What's your size?
9, mate. It was a radio event. He was performing at the Discover Mills Mall.
At where?
Discover Mills.
Yeah.
Up there.
That's a good one.
It was him and a drummer.
Hello Kitty store.
Him and a drummer. It was really bizarre.
I'll bet it was. But, he was on one of these Home and Garden Network flip a house kind of shows.
Yeah, he had a house flipping show, right?
HGTV?
My wife watched it. And then he got in trouble because he robbed one of these houses.
Yeah, he's a drug addict.
But then he
one of the show homes.
While on the TV show, he's robbing.
It was one of the houses that was featured, I believe.
It was like a special hybrid show.
Yeah.
It was like flip this house, then it becomes cops, and Vanilla Ice is running shirtless through the yard,
squatting with Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Flip this
I pretend
house.
to flip your house, but then I steal it from under your feet.
But here's the thing. I don't know if he's still on, but I think he got good ratings because after the whole court case, he still had a show. Like, who's going to let him go to the next house and try to flip it?
I'll flip this house and rip it off.
How many of these house flipping? My wife could watch house flipping shows
same.
for 20 hours a day.
Ladies love them.
We're gonna take this wall down and make it an open concept.
Here we go.
Shiplap.
All right, shiplap.
I'm going to be the idiot.
An island, a kitchen island.
All right, now we have the moment where you take the big sledgehammer. Oh, that's something.
Yep.
Oh, here's the lady. She's grossed out by what she found behind the wall. Okay, I've seen it.
Subway tile.
I was just going to say that. You beat me to it.
Whatever JoJo wants, whatever she wants in the
She
house.
wants subway
Hey,
tile in
There's
the
one
toilet.
thing you guys are not mentioning, and that's backsplash. Which is
It's subway tile.
Subway tile.
Is that subway
Yeah,
tile?
dude.
Yeah,
Subway tile.
Eric.
It's backsplash.
Wow.
To me.
Shiplap.
I find it's
Open
very
floor plan.
interesting that it's all about people's wives and girlfriends watching it, but you guys know a lot about
You
it.
need to
Hard
stand right.
Well,
You need to
why?
stand.
You know a lot.
Because
You
you
know
want to
a
know
lot
why?
about
Because
these
I love
shows.
my wife, and if she's watching something for 20 hours, there's a good chance I'm going to be there for at least 5 minutes of it.
You'll be
What about
asleep
those
in the
creepy
next room.
twins? You like them?
Oh, there is so much sexual tension between those two brothers.
They have a
I've
clue, a
never
raging
seen.
clue.
Wait a second here.
got
Those are two upstanding citizens
I
of
don't
the
know.
state
I'm
of
not
Texas.
saying they're not,
Those
but
teeth.
look at them together.
This
I
the
almost
Property
bought
Brothers.
The Property Brothers are two
They're handsome.
Sexy,
heterosexual,
tall,
very
masculine,
facial
talented,
hair.
and they just look like they might kiss.
No, they're
No,
not.
they
They're
want
not
to
kiss.
dating a celebrity.
They're
World.
brothers. Brothers
I'm
don't
not
kiss.
saying they're not brothers. I'm
I
saying
know what she's saying.
Does no one else gets this vibe from them?
I think you are projecting your vibe onto them.
What is my vibe? Making out with a sibling?
Yeah, I know.
Gay
You know,
incest.
your fantasy could be that two brothers, it's
Why
a
would
three-way.
that be my fantasy?
I don't know. Why would anybody's fantasy be their fantasy? Fantasies are weird.
No,
It's not my fantasy.
Why does
It
my
is- it is-
fantasy have to
listen,
do with a wooden spoon?
Eric, I am very intuitive.
Yeah, is that it?
And I just
you are.
really get this from them. And I'm also seeing,
The
is there
gaydar?
anyone here that has a relative with the word B, the letter B in their name?
I do.
Oh, yeah. I do.
Yeah. She's the,
Everyone? I knew it.
My
she's
grandpa.
She's the,
Is it like a Bill or a Barbara?
hey, can I tell you something, psychic lady?
Yeah.
This doesn't work for the illiterate. You can't say I see an R. They can't spell. They don't know what the hell it's doing. I don't
know what an
Grandpa.
R is.
Hey, you know what's not? You know what's not a
Why
fantasy?
am I eating while we're talking?
I know. I
don't
took a
you
little bite of
fussed
this
us for
thing and
that.
I was like, why
You're
am I?
so starving, aren't you? Look, you're wasting away. Hey, you know what's not a fantasy? The price of those guys' toilets and stuff at Home Depot and Lowe's.
Wait, they have their own.
They have their own line. I can't remember if it's Home Depot or Lowe's, but they have their own line. There's a picture of them.
Autumn's
But
gonna
all
get
of
it.
their stuff is like $200 or $300 or $400
Of course,
more than a regular.
Autumn's going to get it, and she's going to sit on
yeah.
it. She's going to sit on it like, ooh, I'm
Think about them kissing.
sitting on a property. Don't say that word.
She said kissing. I
Kissing.
thought.
Oh, I thought you said the P word.
You get the B-day and think
What did
about
I?
something
What do you think I
else.
said?
Well, it was a toilet we were
Oh,
talking about.
that's funny.
So,
No, kissing.
No, I think you sit on it and you say to yourself, "I'm sitting on the property."
Oh God.
Oh, I'd like this.
That's what I'm saying. If you get the bidet, it's a lot more.
I'm going
fancy.
number 2 because there's twins.
I'll get 2. I'll get 2 of the Property Brothers toilets and have them sit next to
Actually,
each other.
get 3. You sit on one and look at the other 2 and imagine them sitting
Imagine
there.
them sitting there too.
Yeah, kissing while you're all doing number 2s. Which, by the way, if you added it all up, would be a 6.
That's called a 6.
Oh my Lord!
3 people taking a number 2.
That's a 6.
Do you like to have 6?
That's the logic of it.
Yeah.
You get egg roll.
We got to start our own website, 66.com.
Yeah.
And it's just all bathroom potty stuff.
Speaking of toilets, when I went to the premiere...
Speaking of toilets.
When I went to the great band, when I went to the premiere of Cirque du Soleil Volta last week, and
Which
Jared,
I apparently
Jared
was not...
there, I believe.
Yes.
All the media went except for me. I apparently was not...
Well,
I'm not considered a member of the...
Well, you don't check your CMG email.
There you go.
Well, you didn't tell me. You're supposed to give me a heads up. I don't
did.
want to go watch a bunch of French people.
They're not French.
Dude, that was exactly my decision not to go, is because my wife is out of town, so I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I guess I'll watch the football.
Yeah. I'll stay home and enjoy this myself and not go out
It
and
was
watch...
pretty dang good. It was opening night. They took care of it.
It was better than
What
pretty
is Jared
dang
going to
good.
say?
It was
He didn't like it?
amazing.
Look at that lady hanging by her hair.
They have these very fancy porter potties, right? The porta johns. Whatever you call it.
He's
Porta
British.
potties.
He can't say. He can't end a thing.
A portal potty takes you into another dimension.
Okay.
A porta potty.
They had one potty that would not stop flushing. So and it's like this. It's like an airplane.
Where was this?
At the porta johns at Cirque du Soleil, and they're very fancy. They have doors with. They're not completely closed in, so they ventilate really well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
The doors are cut away. But there
What
was
do you mean? You're half open?
No,
doing your business?
Top and bottom, so you can see little feet.
I don't want to see people's feet while they're doing their messy business.
Look how you know if somebody's
How can
in there
I
or not.
concentrate on the fact that we're
Hey,
not
nice
doing
sneakers.
anything bad to elephants
Anyway, this toilet.
or lions
Some guy was in there
or
like,
tigers?
they kept
Yeah,
flushing.
he was pulling a 12.
And then he came out, and the thing was still flushing.
Yeah.
I'm in the one next to it afterwards. It's still flushing.
Can the Soleil people here?
They were too busy getting it ready for the second act.
They utilize that as part of their act.
This was the intermission.
Yeah. Because when I
It was entertaining.
when we took the movie,
toilet?
Yes.
I thought so.
when we took the movie Scarred but Smarter to New York, there's this theater we were in New York, and it was kind of an artsy place, and they would do both things. It was a big stage, so obviously they did plays in there and then showed movies. And when I was walking in, the area where the stairs were was just pitch black. You couldn't see anything until you came through on the other side, and it stayed that way throughout the movie. So the premiere went over very well, and people loved the movie. But literally every 8 to 12 minutes, somebody would get up, go to the bathroom, and you would hear them go, ah! Bam, 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 down the steps. I'm telling you, there were like 4 people bleeding when this thing was over, and yet they kept the people still enjoyed. So I can see how the Soleil people could still cirque with all of this going on.
I'm surprised that Nick didn't buy that bike that was there. I saw you eyeing the since
hang
Volta
on,
was all about
hang
the
on.
bike.
No, hang on. They got
So a motorcycle?
No, so there's a BMX stunt portion of the show.
Yeah, I heard half the show is just a bunch of teenagers on BMX bikes.
Not half, just the end.
They're not teenagers. They're older than that. Yeah. Anyway, we're standing out in the store area where there's like popcorn and beer and wine.
Hey,
and
you know
all
what you call an adult with a BMX? Pedophile. Go ahead.
Well, anyway, I had seen the bike out
Hey,
there.
kids.
I think it goes for like $450.
I've got ecstasy too. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No,
I got pegs on these bikes.
Jared's lovely girlfriend.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. I adore her.
Beautiful.
Tina. I call her
I don't
Tina.
think she's very deep artistically, but I think
I don't know
she's
about
beautiful,
that.
intelligent.
She's extremely artistic.
No, I mean her appreciation. She likes Disney movies. It's time to get over that.
She's not good with film, but she's trying to get better with it. But she's very good.
But you know
She's
why?
got a great
It's not her
eye for that
fault.
stuff.
It's not her fault. She was brought up in this time where nobody has any attention span. So a movie, a film,
Indeed.
sometimes movies don't open up with Act 1. Oh, my God, he almost fell off a cliff. Sometimes you have to follow the story, and it really hits you 45 minutes in or an hour in.
She watches movies so that way she'll feel happy at the end of them. Like it's a good ending. It's a predictable ending. She likes
This
those
is
type
the
of
thing.
movies.
This is the rule. You have to say you will not marry her. Unless she goes a year without watching anything from Disney. You got to get out of your
Star
system.
Wars?
Huh?
Oh, that's true, because Disney owns too much
owns
now.
a lot.
I'm
What
talking
he
about,
means is like a children's Disney movie.
I'm calling it proper Disney.
Like the Bambis of the world.
Dude, you should get her Disney Plus. It's still on sale. Like, you can get 3 years for $160-something.
Yeah, and you can watch.
It's all the rage.
She can watch The Little Mermaid as many times as she wants to.
That would be a great gift.
I sound mean here. I love her. What are you doing? You're like you're unbuttoning. You got a lot of buttons down.
Yeah,
there.
let
What's
them
going on
out.
with
Pop
you?
them out.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, pop them out.
Steady, the Golden Girls are standing outside of the window.
I'm buttoning this button.
We have very old people touring the station. You could kill them with that.
Wow, look at her.
The reason I brought up Tina was she offered to buy me the BMX bike.
Really?
Yeah.
What is she, rich and famous?
But then she went back on it. I said, come on, buy me the bike. She said,
how much is the bike?
$450.
Oh, wow. They're doing well over there at Spanx.
Mm-hmm. Dude, you apply those Yamamotos with some alcohol. They start
she's
to
not
go.
a Yamamoto
yet.
She's not a moto yet.
She's honorary.
She's just a Yama.
Again, everyone makes
She's
this
Mamamoto.
assumption. Everyone makes this assumption. I had 2 glasses of wine the entire night because it was a school night.
Because I had pre-gamed. I was already
I didn't
drunk.
pre-game at all.
This is what drunks do. They try to act like they don't do that. I don't drink at all.
Did you leave?
I was stone cold sober.
By the way, I love your
before it was
girlfriend.
over?
I think she's very smart.
Did you leave before it was over?
No, we finished it.
Because I swear to God, when I opened my email, I was leaving the seat, opened my email on my phone, and the old Jerry Yamamoto, here's what's up for the Von Haessler Doctrine tomorrow, came up in my email.
Right. For some reason, ever since we changed our email over, I have to send it through both now because it delays when it sends.
I get both of them in the morning.
They didn't move something over into CMG. I'm dealing with it now because I can't get reimbursed for my last trip.
They asked me about that. I said, "Don't worry about it. Pay her whenever
She'll just start a GoFundMe.
You know how we were there though.
I'll tell you when she looks like she needs money. You know, she's starving or something with the kids. But
It
for
doesn't-
now,
I mean,
it doesn't
listen,
matter.
a balance on my credit card doesn't affect my outward appearance.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I'll wait until it affects the kids. When I see the kids in the street, I'll be like, "Yeah, I pay her."
Okay,
He's always
Pay her that
milfcam.com.
$400. That'll get her off the
There's
street.
always what?
Milfcam.com.
There's always a way.
Let me
Looks like
undo
she's-
this butt.
But I mean, there was a bunch of Atlanta
But
media.
then I should say that our changes going on with our company.
Well, it was
That's why.
media night, wasn't it?
Oh, but it's weird though because I saw people could buy seats for that night
take
too.
it
So
all
there
the
was a
douches.
ton. There was a ton of media night, including one of Tad's arch rivals. But
A couple of them.
there
was Mark from
Kara.
Mark from one show and Bert from the other show.
That's true. I didn't even think about that one. Yeah,
Who's
you're right.
Mark? I don't even know who that is.
You know, Mark,
our friend.
does the Braves play? Does the Braves?
Mark, that
color
Mark.
on the microphone.
Hey,
Mark
Bird
Owens.
here.
Yeah, I root for him against Tad all the time. Sorry, Tad, I've known
Yeah,
him
no,
longer.
I definitely
I have
the
no-
Braves play-by-play announcer is some of our
No,
heavy.
he's not play-by-play. It's the in-between plays when you're in the
Yeah.
stands.
Does he do that anymore?
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
Like on top of the dugout. The
color guy.
Do I do that?
Last time I was there, not the color guy. He's the guy who does the game.
booster.
Yeah. Last time I was there was somebody else.
Well, when we saw
It was
him,
Bert.
Funny
Funny enough.
Hey,
How the
Bird
mighty
here.
have fallen.
Here's my 7-foot girlfriend.
she is tall. I saw her. She is tall. She was there.
It just looks like 7 feet because he's 4
That's
foot.
right. She's 5'6".
Yeah, he left early. He
Yeah.
was sitting right in front
Oh
of me.
yeah, he's got to get up.
He's got to get up early. He's got a big.
So do we.
He's got a big show. He's got this guy.
Well, it's the other thing.
causing him all kinds of
Look,
trouble. He's got to
that's
get out
right.
there. And
I got
get
Tad on my
working.
heels.
When you're dating somebody,
No,
that,
more like he's got Tad on. I mean, Tad's got him on his heels.
Oh, hi.
That's what I say, huh?
And she doesn't wear heels because she's already taller.
Yeah,
than
she's already
him.
tall.
here's the
Right?
deal. When you're dating,
Oh, very good, girl. Thanks for being in the show.
Trump's bad, Bert.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
there
you know
was
what? I
a
got to
bunch
say
of
this.
TV personalities
He
there
left
too.
early. He left early.
Bert was always cool to me.
He's always cool to me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
Same
have been
here.
too, and I'm rooting for you because you're in our company.
It is.
So out of the 2 shows that do
You can eat some more nuts.
wacky contest about relationships,
I'm eating too. Don't worry.
I'm on your side.
Thank you.
Hey, you know what? Bert had to leave early because he's got to climb up.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, Nick.
Needs half the
All
evening.
right, now I'll not have that sort of
Oh, eat some more nuts.
libel and slander of a
It's just
fellow
a fact.
talk show host.
I'm sure I can say these
You
things.
should hear what they're saying about you.
I'm sure.
Oh
but
yeah,
not
they
as
were
sure as
talking
him.
so much smack
That
about
you are
us.
so good in bed that girls say it's like crack.
Hey, Jeff
They
Dollar
can't
here.
leave you if they try.
Hey, Jeff Dollar
they
here.
did.
Follow me and my wife on Instagram.
Is that still going on?
Uh-oh.
I will say, I've met Bert a couple of times.
Yeah.
Classy guy.
He is a
He's
nice
good
guy.
Nice guy.
He is.
He's
Yeah.
a good guy. When we went over there, he owned that building, and I thought this was going to be a problem because we had a legacy.
You had to pay rent?
From day one, he was, just really,
Blue
really
Room.
welcoming. And, he played his little games, but he was very good. He warned me once that if I stared into the microwave while I was making my oatmeal,
go blind.
I would get, eye cancer or something. I don't know if he was right about that.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, but I stopped staring
Microwaves are less dangerous than the rays from the sun.
What are you suddenly, an anthropologist?
She's the astronaut's wife. She's the astronaut's wife, isn't she?
She knows. She knows everything.
No.
Oh, let me explain this TikTok thing to you.
Wait a minute. Okay, one second. Before you do that, I want you to play that again because I feel like this should be being done at the same time. This is visual with my index finger. Go.
No.
Nice one.
All right, now you're on, Autumn. What are you explaining to me? TikTok?
Yes, that TikTok thing, the point of it is that you
told me about it.
TikTok is my favorite place to go and make wacky videos.
Yeah.
You play.
What was your point, Autumn?
I'll be like Eric, I guess I'm done.
No, stop.
There she comes.
Stop for 1 second. Tell me what the TikTok is.
TikTok, you get audio from somewhere else, and then you do something on it with the audio in the background.
Yeah, so that's
she was
why.
she was taping whatever she was doing with the macaroni and cheese while that thing was playing. So that person wasn't there actually laughing like that.
But they asked, he does say, look at this dude, and it's a lady.
Right, because it's from something else.
It's a voiceover.
I know, but he sees that it's a lady when he calls her a dude.
No, he doesn't. No, it's not.
She took the voiceover and she put it over her video.
So it's just like if you
It's
took
mashup. It's a
if you had TikTok, you might take Salisbury Hill or something and do something that is not inspiring at all because it's like a joke.
Yes. Oh, I got you. I got you. So,
and it wouldn't be. We wouldn't think that Peter Gabriel was in the room.
laying passed out on a sofa, and then you play Salisbury Hill.
Yeah,
climbing up a. I get it. So you take some tick, you add some talk, you got a mashup.
Tickety talk.
That's right.
Hey, shouldn't that kid be in school?
It's parent-teacher conferences today and tomorrow, so we've got her for 2 days. We have her till tomorrow, too.
She's not interested in talking to the teacher, so.
There she is.
Do you have to go in for a parent-teacher conference?
All right. Once we get kids, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done. Tad.
Yes, sir.
Nice to see you on Tad Tuesday.
You too. Thank you.
Best of luck to you, sir.
And to you.
Me and Tad had a dinner date last night.
Did you guys have sex afterwards?
Nope. Before.
Well, I want to hear about this.
Before.
All right, people. That music tells me that we're done. And I can't say I disagree. So, while we're all in agreement, let's call an end to this one. See you tomorrow.
Little Man Jensen. Little Man Jensen.
Bernie
Hey,
There's a little man. There's a little man dancing. In a world with BMX bikes.